Just started university, and my beautiful tutor turns out to be the mother of my child. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 826. Are you going out on a date? At this time, on the second floor of the villa. After a simple lunch, Zhang Yuxi went straight back to her room. Because she had to go to school at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, Zhang Yuxi planned to take a short nap. But there was a knock on the door outside the room. She opened the door and saw her parents standing there, both of them with strange expressions. Dad? Mom? Yuxi, Mom wants to ask you something. Did I disturb your rest? Zhao Lizian said awkwardly. No, what do you want to ask? Zhang Yuxi looked at Zhao Lizian suspiciously, feeling that her mother was weird. Zhao Lizian asked directly, Yuxi, actually when you came back just now, Mom saw it. I saw a man sending you back. Can you tell Mom who that man is? Is he your classmate? After the words fell, the atmosphere suddenly became a little quiet. Zhang Yuxi was slightly startled. She didn't expect that Lin Feng would be seen by her mother when she sent her there. This was too. But she couldn't avoid her mother's question. Zhang Yuxi was silent for a moment, then said frankly, Mom, he is not my classmate. I know what you are thinking. Don't worry, he is not my boyfriend either. I won't fall in love before I go to college. Hearing this answer, Zhang Fuiong and Zhao Lizian immediately breathed a sigh of relief. That's good. Zhang Fuiong asked, Yuxi, who is he then? A friend. Friend? Zhang Yuxi suddenly didn't know what to say. Are she and Lin Feng friends? In order to dispel her parents' concerns, Zhang Yuxi simply confessed the whole story, including how she met Lin Feng. After listening, the two of them suddenly realized that this was the case. It seems that there was really a misunderstanding. So, we are not even good friends, but have only met twice. Zhao Lizian said. Yes. Zhang Yuxi nodded. Okay. Zhao Lizian finally felt relieved and smiled. Baby, then you can take a nap, Mom won't disturb you. After saying that, he and Zhang Fuiong left directly. Just after the two left, Zhang Yuxi immediately took out her mobile phone and sent a text message to Lin Feng. You know, my mother saw you when you sent me back. At this time, Lin Feng had already arrived at the hotel and was preparing to have lunch. He smiled when he saw the text message sent by Zhang Yuxi. Then what? Lin Feng replied. Zhang Yuxi said, Then my parents came to ask who you are. I guess they mistook you for my boyfriend. Seeing this reply, Lin Feng was moved and said, Then do you have a boyfriend? In fact, Lin Feng asked knowingly, but he just wanted to hear Zhang Yuxi's answer. Of course not. Zhang Yuxi replied with a smile, I'm not in a relationship now, although many of my friends around me have partners, but I'd better wait until I go to college. It can be seen that Zhang Yuxi still has some aspirations for the so-called love. It's just that it's inappropriate now. She knows which is more important between study and love. Okay, I support your idea. Lin Feng said. Zhang Yuxi, yeah, have you had lunch? Lin Feng, yes. Time flies, and many days have passed in the blink of an eye. During these few days, Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi chatted on the phone every day. Gradually, Zhang Yuxi got used to the feeling of chatting with Lin Feng and the presence of Lin Feng around her. Even every time she got home and got her phone, the first thing she did was to see if Lin Feng had sent her a message. She often shared her daily life with Lin Feng, and would talk to Lin Feng about any interesting things she encountered at school, or if she did not do well in the exams or some troubles in life. And Lin Feng was also very patient, never perfunctory to Zhang Yuxi, and would reply to every message very seriously. Of course, the two were definitely not in love. It's just that this kind of interaction between each other is very subtle, like the ambiguous period before confirming a romantic relationship. Hazy, happy and curious. One morning, in the big room of the hotel, Lin Feng woke up and was very excited. Because today, he was going on a date with Zhang Yuxi. Although it was a date, it was just what Lin Feng thought. Buzz! At this moment, the phone suddenly rang. Lin Feng picked up his phone and saw that it was a message from Zhang Yuxi, as expected. What are you doing? Today is the Mid-Autumn Festival holiday, and I'm a bit bored at home. I really want to go out and play. If a girl takes the initiative to tell you that she is bored and wants to go out and play, it is likely that she is hinting that you should ask her out. Where do you want to go? Lin Feng asked. After a while, Zhang Yuxi replied, I heard that there is a new amusement park opened at the south gate. Speaking of which, I have never been to an amusement park. Lin Feng was happy. If you want to go, I can go with you. Really? In the other room, Zhang Yuxi was lying on the bed with her calves and white socks raised. After seeing Lin Feng's reply, she was very happy. Because of so many days of contact, Zhang Yuxi has long regarded Lin Feng as a good friend, and the only male friend. Then where shall we meet? Zhang Yuxi asked, by the way, do you have time? If you don't have time, forget it, Lin Feng, I may not have time with others, but I definitely have time with you. Zhang Yuxi was successfully captured and laughed. How many girls have you said this to? Lin Feng, I'm an honest man, what do you think? Zhang Yuxi, tisk. People who say they are honest every day are generally the most dishonest. Seeing this, Lin Feng replied with an emoticon package, and then said, I love to tell the truth. Zhang Yuxi, okay, then let's meet at the south gate, see you in half an hour, I'm going to wash my hair first. Lin Feng, okay, go. Then Zhang Yuxi went to wash her hair. At this time, Lin Feng thought of something, and his mind moved. He typed in the chat box, I heard that amusement parks are more suitable for JK. After sending it, Lin Feng also smiled, and he looked forward to Zhang Yuxi's reply. Hey Yuxi. Washing your hair in broad daylight, are you going out on a date? In the villa, Zhang Yuxi, with wet hair, just came out of the bathroom and met a woman. The woman was probably in her 30s, with a dignified and beautiful appearance, and had the temperament of a strong businesswoman. She was Zhang Yuxi's aunt, and she happened to be visiting Zhang Yuxi's house today. Seeing Zhang Yuxi washing her hair in broad daylight, she teased her like this. Ah. No. Zhang Yuxi blushed slightly and quickly denied it. And, are you going out to play later? Zhang Yuxi, yes. The aunt smiled and said, are you going out with male classmates or female classmates? Zhang Yuxi knew that the aunt was trying to trick her, and immediately curled her lips helplessly. Oh, and, I don't have a boyfriend, I'm just going out to play with friends normally. The aunt chuckled, okay, then be careful when you go out to play. Yes. Then Zhang Yuxi ran away at the speed of light and hurried back to the room, while the aunt went back downstairs to chat with Zhang Fuiong and his wife. Chapter 827 Memory Fusion. Zhang Yuxi didn't take her aunt's words to heart. When she returned to her room, she couldn't wait to pick up her phone and saw that Lin Feng had indeed sent her a message. I heard that amusement parks are more suitable for JK. Seeing this, Zhang Yuxi's fair face instantly turned red. This guy actually wanted to see her wearing a JK uniform? At that time, Zhang Yuxi was 18 years old, although she had not fully grown up. However, both her appearance and figure could be said to be top-notch. Because she usually wore more serious clothes to school, she basically didn't wear this kind of JK uniform. I remember wearing it once or twice. Forget it, for the sake of you helping me a few times. After thinking for a few seconds, Zhang Yuxi opened the wardrobe. South Gate. Lin Feng came here more than 10 minutes in advance, and Zhang Yuxi didn't let him down. Here. Lin Feng saw Zhang Yuxi from a distance and waved to her, and then Zhang Yuxi walked towards him quickly. Have you been waiting for me for a long time? Zhang Yuxi said to Lin Feng with a smile. She was wearing a black and purple JK uniform, black calf socks, a high ponytail, and a bag in her hand. Although she was barefaced, her skin was very fair and even more delicate than others with makeup. Lin Feng couldn't help but sigh. This was Zhang Yuxi at the age of 18. She was extremely pure and lovely, and her beauty was a feast for the eyes. Ahem, you really came out wearing JK. Lin Feng recovered and smiled. He felt a little surprised. What else? It's okay. This style suits you very well. It looks good. Zhang Yuxi said happily, thank you. Let's go drink milk tea first. There are a lot of people queuing in the amusement park now. We'll go there later. Lin Feng said. Zhang Yuxi said, okay. Then the two came to the milk tea shop. Lin Feng asked for a cup of Baixiang Duet and ordered a cup of peach Sijuchen for Zhang Yuxi. While waiting for the milk tea to be ready, an old man suddenly walked up to Zhang Yuxi. The old man hunched over and begged Zhang Yuxi, beautiful lady, please give me 50 yuan. I haven't eaten for a day. Huh? Zhang Yuxi was looking at her phone seriously. The old man's appearance scared her and she took 2 steps back. Please give me 50 yuan. I haven't eaten for a day. The old man repeated it again. Although it was pretended, he looked as pitiful as he could. Zhang Yuxi's face was empty and she said helplessly, "But grandpa, I don't have any change." If she had brought change, Zhang Yuxi would definitely give it to him decisively, because 50 yuan was not much for her, and she was very kind. At this time, Lin Feng took the 2 cups of milk tea handed by the clerk. He looked at the old man who asked Zhang Yuxi for money calmly. Then he raised his hand and took Zhang Yuxi away. "Let's go." "Hey." The old man was left standing there, looking at Lin Feng's back as he left. His expression was a little unhappy. "Lin Feng, why?" Zhang Yuxi was a little confused by Lin Feng's behavior. She could see that Lin Feng did it on purpose. What if he really needs help? Zhang Yuxi said innocently. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi and said lightly, "I came here before you and noticed him a long time ago." Zhang Yuxi blinked her beautiful eyes. "Then what?" Lin Feng said slowly. "He said the same thing to every passerby he met, and I saw several people gave him money. If he was really hungry for a day, the money was enough for him to eat. So this kind of person is a liar, deceiving everyone's sympathy? Next time if you meet such a person, don't answer him, just walk away." "Oh." Zhang Yuxi looked silly and cute, and listened very seriously. Although Lin Feng's tone was preaching, she didn't know why. She liked this feeling very much. Then Lin Feng took Zhang Yuxi to the amusement park. Since it was newly opened, the tickets were very cheap, only 99 per person, and Zhang Yuxi bought the tickets. Because Zhang Yuxi felt that it was she who proposed to come to the amusement park, and Lin Feng also treated her to milk tea. She couldn't just come out and let others pay for it, right? On the roller coaster, a scream of ghosts and wolves howled, and Zhang Yuxi and Lin Feng were among them. Why aren't you scared?" Zhang Yuxi was so scared that her face turned pale, but she noticed that Lin Feng was extremely calm, and even had a hint of enjoyment on his face. Lin Feng smiled and said, "There's nothing to be afraid of." "Are you kidding? Would I be afraid?" However, considering that it was the first time for 18-year-old Zhang Yuxi to ride a roller coaster, it was normal for her to be scared and terrified. "Don't be nervous, this is very safe, you won't fall down. Or you can close your eyes, it will be better." Hearing Lin Feng's words, Zhang Yuxi closed her eyes decisively, but she was still very scared. Suddenly, Lin Feng felt her hand tightly grasping his arm. It was Zhang Yuxi's hand. Lin Feng's inner desire to protect instantly exploded, and he reached out and hugged Zhang Yuxi's shoulders. Half an hour later, the two of them also played many projects together. Lin Feng was very happy, and Zhang Yuxi was no exception. This was the happiest day for Zhang Yuxi in recent times. Looking at the smile on Zhang Yuxi's face, although Lin Feng, who had no feelings for the amusement park, felt that everything was worth it. Ding. Memory fusion countdown, 15 minutes. At this moment, the voice of the system sounded in Lin Feng's mind. Lin Feng was a little confused and asked silently, "System, what are you doing? What is memory fusion?" Ding. Reply to the host. Because the host has been in blind action for a long time, it does not meet the role of the host in this world, so the memory of the host in this world will be fused. After listening to the explanation of the system, Lin Feng was even more confused. "Speak human language," Lin Feng said directly in a cold voice. "Okay host, in human language, you are a high school student in this world, in the same school as Zhang Yuxi, you have your own parents, but because you haven't been home for a long time, they are looking for you. Please don't hang around." "Oh my. Why didn't you say it earlier?" "Lin Feng, there are so many dolls there, let's go take a look." "Okay." Hearing Zhang Yuxi's call, Lin Feng temporarily put the system's words behind his head. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi came to a stall, which was filled with a dazzling array of dolls, such as Blue Fat Man, Pikachu, Kuromi, etc. Basically, they were all liked by girls. Suddenly, Zhang Yuxi's eyes lit up, and in front of the boss, she bent down and picked up a pink strawberry bear felt hat on the stall. "Lin Feng, does this look good?" Zhang Yuxi waved the felt hat in front of Lin Feng and smiled. "It's okay, not bad." As soon as Lin Feng finished speaking, Zhang Yuxi slightly raised her feet and put this cute strawberry bear felt hat on Lin Feng's head, and at the same time covered her mouth and laughed happily. "Ha ha ha, so cute." Zhang Yuxi laughed so hard that her body shook, and her beautiful laughter attracted the attention of passers-by. "Lin Feng. What a good you actually attacked me." Lin Feng came back to his senses, glanced around, picked up a Mickey Mouse felt hat from the stall, and put it on Zhang Yuxi's little head in a flash. Then I'll put one on you too. Wow, I don't want to wear this. This Mickey Mouse is so ugly. Zhang Yuxi quickly took off the felt hat. This Mickey Mouse was gray, and she didn't like gray. Can't you pick a nice looking one? Chapter 828 Young Parents. Zhang Yuxi put her hands on her hips and pretended to be angry. She pouted her mouth slightly and glared at Lin Feng angrily. The boss was a middle-aged man. Seeing the young couple teasing each other, he also smiled like an ant. Alice, being young is good, but I really can't envy it. At the same time, not far away. Click, click. A young photographer was taking pictures in the amusement park, and the people he aimed his camera at were Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi. Great! What a beautiful couple! Looking at the film photos taken, the photographer was very satisfied. Lin Feng, someone is secretly taking pictures of us. The sharp-eyed Zhang Yuxi suddenly noticed the photographer's actions and immediately reminded Lin Feng. Where is it? Lin Feng was stunned. Someone is actually taking pictures secretly? Question mark. Then, Zhang Yuxi pointed at the photographer, and Lin Feng walked towards the photographer without saying a word. The photographer did not run away either. He smiled with a bit of embarrassment and watched Lin Feng coming over. Why are you secretly photographing me? The photographer touched the back of his head and said apologetically, Ahem, misunderstanding, young man, listen to my explanation first. After the other party's explanation, Lin Feng also understood the other party's intention. It turned out that the other party was a short video blogger who liked to take pictures. He specially took pictures of those high-value couples on the street and posted them on the internet. He currently has more than 500,000 fans. It can be said that there was no malice, and it was not considered a sneak shot, because even if Zhang Yuxi didn't find it, he would take the initiative to tell her later. Otherwise, it would be an infringement of personal privacy. After listening to the other party's explanation, the photographer kept apologizing. The generous Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi didn't say anything and forgave the other party. By the way, this photo is for you. I took it just now. I wish you a long and long life. The photographer smiled and handed the film photo in his hand to Lin Feng, and then left. Lin Feng, show it to me. Before Lin Feng himself looked at it, the photo in his hand was snatched away by the curious Zhang Yuxi. In the photo, Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi both had bright smiles on their faces. Although their actions seemed to be playing around, they were more like lovers flirting. The sun was warm and the sky was blue. This photo gave people a warm feeling. The smiles on their faces were very healing and warm. This is so well taken. Zhang Yuxi liked this photo with Lin Feng at first sight. Lin Feng smiled and said, it's really well taken. You are a professional photographer. You captured it just right. Zhang Yuxi was moved. How about we print this photo? You keep one and I keep one. Lin Feng said, no, you keep it. Zhang Yuxi asked curiously, why? After a few seconds of inner conflict, Lin Feng stared at Zhang Yuxi seriously. I have something to tell you. I may have to leave. Huh? A string of question marks popped up in Zhang Yuxi's head. Where are you going? Lin Feng smiled and shook his head. I'm going home, but don't worry, we will meet soon. Zhang Yuxi was confused by what she heard. At this moment, the voice of the system came. Ding. The memories of the protagonists in the parallel world are merging. In this world, you are a senior high school student with only 100 days left before the college entrance examination. You are a student in the same school as Zhang Yuxi. Your parents, Lin Dashan and Zhou Qilin, currently live at number 38 Giant Road. You haven't been home for several days, and they are looking for you everywhere. After listening to the system's explanation, Lin Feng shook his head helplessly. This broken system. Since completing all the life progress, it has become more and more unreliable. Why didn't you tell me about such an important thing when you first came here? Now I've been wandering around for a few days before telling me. It turns out that in this world, I also have parents? Seeing Zhang Yuxi's confused look, Lin Feng touched her face, waved and said, bye, I think we'll meet tomorrow. After saying that, Lin Feng ran to the side of the road. He hailed a taxi and returned to number 38 Giant Road. Entering the community, Lin Feng discovered that the layout here was surprisingly similar to his hometown in Micheng in the parallel world. Everything is so strange and familiar. And I heard from the system that my parents are Lin Dashan and Zhou Qilin. Could they be my parents in my previous life? Lin Feng calmed down his thoughts and slowly walked into the community. He soon arrived downstairs. Lin Feng's home is on the 3rd floor. Lin Feng came upstairs according to his memories of his previous life. Standing at the door, he was a little excited. In the other parallel world, his father Lin Dashan and Zhou Qilin both died a year before Xiaobao's coming-of-age ceremony. At that time, he was lost for more than half a year before he came to his senses. Thinking of this, Lin Feng's eyes were a little moist. He was very grateful to the system for giving him the opportunity to see his parents again. Since he has traveled to this world, then Lin Feng will accompany his parents well and give them enough love. Click. At this time, the door was suddenly opened. What appeared at the door was the gentle face of his mother Zhou Qilin. Lin Feng's eyes instantly turned red. Son, where have you been? Do you know how hard we have been looking for you these days? Zhou Qilin saw Lin Feng standing at the door and couldn't help bursting into tears. Mom. Seeing this familiar face, Lin Feng couldn't help it. He threw himself into his mother's arms and shed tears. Feeling the warm embrace of his mother, Lin Feng's uneasy heart was finally put down. Since the system has given him the opportunity to restart his life, he will hold it well and create a perfect life. Starting from his wife's high school days. After taking Lin Feng into the house, Zhou Qilin didn't ask, where did Lin Feng go these days? Just thought that the academic pressure in the 3rd year of high school was too great, and the child went to relax, so she didn't ask much. About 10 minutes later. Click. There was a sound of a door opening. Lin Feng and Zhou Qilin both subconsciously looked towards the door. Dad. Seeing the young appearance of Lin Dashan, Lin Feng was stunned for a moment, and couldn't help but greet him. Seeing Lin Feng, Lin Dashan instantly got furious. You little bastard. You still know how to come back. Do you know how long we have been looking for you? Tell me, which internet cafe have you been hanging out in again? I'll teach you a lesson. Lin Dashan pointed at Lin Feng and cursed. Lin Feng. Seeing the dynamite Lin Dashan, Lin Feng couldn't say a word. Is he going to say that it was some pitfall system that didn't tell him that in this world, he still has a home and parents? Old Lin, what are you doing? Don't scare the child. Zhou Qilin hurried up to stop the fight. In the end, Lin Dashan was still stopped by Zhou Qilin. After scolding Lin Feng a few words, the family sat on the sofa and started chatting. Xiao Feng. Actually, it's not your dad's fault that he got so angry. You too, you disappeared during such an important time in senior year, and we were so worried. Zhou Qilin glanced at Lin Feng and said resentfully. Mom and Dad. I know I was wrong, don't look at me like that, I'm scared. Lin Feng said weakly. Lin Dashan. Zhou Qilin. Stop talking nonsense, kid. Don't be so frivolous with me, or I'll beat you up. Lin Dashan glared at him and said viciously. Oh, this is quite complicated. I can't explain it clearly for a while. Lin Feng thought for a while and said with a bitter expression. As he spoke, he looked up at Zhou Qilin and Lin Dashan. Seeing that their expressions were still dissatisfied, Lin Feng quickly made amends. Mom and Dad, I can assure you that disappearing for a few days will definitely not affect my grades. Hearing Lin Feng's words, Lin Dashan and Zhou Qilin showed satisfied smiles. Okay. You should take a shower and rest early. Go to school tomorrow and apologize to the teacher. Hearing this, Lin Feng felt as if he had been granted amnesty and hurried into the bedroom. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 829 Encounter with Zhang Yuxi. Ding. Due to the host's successful return to the family, system reward, a new model Ferrari, will be delivered this afternoon. Please pay attention to the follow-up prompts. When Lin Feng returned to the room, he heard the voice of the system. Did it say that after completing all life progress, the system will disappear and no longer issue rewards? Perhaps sensing Lin Feng's doubts, the system's voice came out again. Due to the host restarting his life, a new life progress is started. The system will issue tasks from time to time. As long as you complete the tasks, you can get rewards. In order to allow the host to be admitted to the same university as Zhang Yuxi, the system rewards God-level learning ability, valid for 100 days. Note, with God-level learning ability, the host's learning ability can be increased by more than 10 times, not only improving memory ability, but also improving comprehension ability, making it easier for the host to integrate and comprehend. The validity period is 100 days, and the effect disappears after 100 days. Time is precious, please hurry up and study. More than 10 times the learning ability? Lin Feng heard this and almost couldn't help laughing out loud. With this thing, plus 100 days, it would be easy to get into the same university as Zhang Yuxi. Lin Feng sat at his desk, calmed down, and got rid of all distractions. Then he picked up his high school math textbook and started reading. 1 page, 2 pages. Lin Feng's thoughts were extremely clear. With the blessing of his God-level learning ability, he found that these questions were extremely simple. Soon, Lin Feng was addicted to learning. Buzz buzz buzz. I don't know how long it took. Lin Feng was awakened by his mobile phone. He picked up the phone and found that it was an unfamiliar local number. Hello, is this Mr. Lin? I'm a SF Express guy. You have a courier. Is it convenient to receive it now? The courier asked in a gentle tone. Lin Feng replied, no problem, come up. 10 minutes later, Lin Feng signed for SF Express. As Lin Feng guessed, there was indeed a Ferrari car key in the courier box. When he took out the car key, the system issued a new prompt. Ling. The host successfully received the car keys. The corresponding prizes are stored in the underground garage of Huijing Building. Please go and collect them yourself. Huijing Building is the commercial center of Magic City. It mainly targets the mid to high-end market. Lin Feng naturally knew this place. He took the Ferrari car keys, told Zhou Qilin that he had something to go out, and took a taxi to Huijing Building. Half an hour later, Lin Feng came to the underground parking lot of Huijing Building. He found the Ferrari according to the system's prompts. This Ferrari 488 has the most classic red body color of Ferrari. The entire body is a circle of circular arcs, which looks very smooth and beautiful. There is a giant sapphire at the front of the car, shining with dazzling light. It's really luxurious. It's worthy of being a global limited edition sports car, worth millions. Lin Feng looked at the car, and his blood boiled. Although in his previous life, Lin Feng had countless wealth, but as the head of the family, many times, he had to think about his family. So he didn't play with sports cars. But this thing can be said to be the dream of all men. For this car, Lin Feng liked it more and more. He couldn't wait to take out the key, then sat in the cockpit and started this beast. After driving for decades, Lin Feng's driving skills have long been perfect. Even the 720 horsepower engine of Ferrari can be easily controlled by him. Boom! A roar of the engine sounded, and Lin Feng drove the Ferrari and left the parking lot. Lin Feng drove this beast to the outskirts of the city. After a frantic run, the excitement in his heart slowly subsided. Lin Feng drove the car and returned to the community by some strange coincidence. Oh no, I was just having fun just now. I subconsciously drove the car back. I'm afraid it will be difficult to explain later. Forget it, I'll find a suitable opportunity later and tell my parents. Boom. The sound of the Ferrari engine sounded again. Lin Feng drove the car back to the parking lot of Huijing Building, and then took a taxi back home again. Are you back? Hurry up and wash your hands and eat. Zhou Qilin shouted when she saw Lin Feng coming back. After dinner, Lin Feng returned to his bedroom and continued to indulge in studying. Lin Feng is getting more and more addicted to studying. I didn't think that studying could be so interesting before. Lin Feng finally understood and finally realized the feelings of those academic masters. Learning makes people happy. It's really exciting. Time passed quietly. With the help of his God-level learning ability, Lin Feng retaught the entire year of mathematics in high school and mastered it completely. It was not until after 11 o'clock in the evening, when Zhou Qilin came to urge him to take a shower and go to bed, Lin Feng stopped. Lin Feng came out of the shower and was drying his hair. Zhou Qilin brought a cup of hot milk and told him not to be too tired, to rest early, and to combine work and rest. Lin Feng thought about it and felt that there was no need to be so anxious. 100 days was enough. So he nodded and said he knew. After blowing his hair and drinking hot milk, Lin Feng went to bed. Nothing happened all night. Early the next morning, Lin Feng woke up. After brushing his teeth, he put on his school bag and went out. It was still early, so Lin Feng planned to have breakfast outside the school before going to the classroom slowly. Boss, beef noodles. Lin Feng stood in front of the noodle stall and called to the boss. Okay, young man. Please find a seat first, it will be ready soon. The boss said enthusiastically. Lin Feng sat by the snack stall and waited, playing with his mobile phone out of boredom. Boss, I want a bowl of egg noodles. Suddenly, A crisp female voice came into Lin Feng's ears. Hey, what's that voice? Lin Feng looked up and saw that it was Zhang Yuxi. I didn't expect to meet her here. This world is really small, but fate is really amazing. Okay, little girl. Please find a seat first, and it will be your turn after I finish this. The boss responded with a smile. Zhang Yuxi was about to find a seat and sat down, and as soon as she turned around, she met Lin Feng's eyes. Is it him? Zhang Yuxi blushed instantly. After meeting Lin Feng yesterday, he said something inexplicable and left alone. Unexpectedly, she would meet Lin Feng here. She walked up to him and asked shyly, "Why are you here?" Lin Feng smiled and replied, "I'm going to study at Shanghai No. 3 Middle School. Isn't it normal to be here?" Ah! Zhang Yuxi was stunned, and then showed a hint of surprise. "Are you also a student at Shanghai No. 3 Middle School?" "Yes. I'm in the same grade as you. But, it seems that we are not on the same class." Hearing what Lin Feng said, Zhang Yuxi became even more confused. What is he talking about? Don't you know whether he is in the same class as me? But, he said that he is a student of the same school as her. This surprised her, because a boy as handsome as Lin Feng couldn't be famous in high school, right? Chapter 830. He will definitely not miss this life. Ling. Congratulations to the host, reunited with Zhang Yuxi. System rewards character scanning function. Do you want to start it now? At this moment, the voice of the system came from Lin Feng's mind. Start. Lin Feng said without thinking. Ling. Character scanning function has been turned on. The next second, a series of data appeared in Lin Feng's mind. Name, Zhang Yuxi. Age, 18. Appearance, 98. Body, 96. Status, 100. Note 1. The appearance score is based on the current world and the current aesthetic level. Those who meet the host's aesthetic concept will receive a higher score. Note 2. The status score only refers to the other party's private life. The healthier the private life, the higher the score. If there is a small deviation, it is likely that the other party's physical health factors are affected, so don't worry about it. After reading the system's notes, Lin Feng instantly understood that this thing is equivalent to the character introduction in the game, right? However, Zhang Yuxi's appearance is as high as 98. Lin Feng clicked on his own and found that it was only 88. Lin Feng instantly felt the full malice from the system. But, to be honest, Zhang Yuxi is worthy of being the school beauty of Moto No. 3 Middle School. Her appearance is so high. Tisk tisk, I didn't know my wife was pretty good in high school. She is worthy of being the woman that I, Lin Feng, have set my eyes on. Lin Feng thought happily in his heart. Ding, the system issued a random task. It was detected that Zhang Yuxi in high school was severely depressed and seemed to have suicidal tendencies. Please ask the host to untie her knot and save Zhang Yuxi's life. Option 1. Accept the task. Help Zhang Yuxi untie her knot and dispel her suicidal thoughts. Completing the task will gain master-level investment and financial management capabilities. Option 2. Refuse the task. Ignore Zhang Yuxi's suicidal thoughts, and you will be awarded the title of cold-blooded and ruthless. Oh my gosh. Do I still need to choose this? My wife's knot. If I don't help to untie it, who will untie it? System, I choose 1. Accept the task. Lin Feng said without hesitation. After that, he looked at the girl in front of him with a smile that was a little melancholy. Although he didn't know what Zhang Yuxi had experienced in high school, Lin Feng would protect her no matter what. Hello. Can I sit here? A magnetic voice sounded in Zhang Yuxi's ears. Zhang Yuxi was startled by the sudden voice. She looked up and saw that handsome face that made people feel very comfortable, right in front of her. And his eyes seemed to be full of magic, making people fall into it. It was him. Zhang Yuxi's heart was a little confused. Like a deer running around, her face instantly turned red like an apple. But, Ken. Zhang Yuxi said with a little stutter. There was no way, she was too nervous now. Seeing that she agreed, Lin Feng smiled slightly and sat down with the beef noodles. After he sat down, Zhang Yuxi became more nervous and kept avoiding Lin Feng's eyes. The flustered look was as cute as a little white rabbit. Hello, let's get to know each other again. I'm Lin Feng, a student of Magic City No. 3 Middle School. Lin Feng stretched out his right hand and said, Hello. Zhang Yuxi responded in a low voice, and stretched out her right hand to shake Lin Feng's hand gently. Then she immediately took it back. Oh my. Hands are so soft, my future wife's hands are so soft. Lin Feng said shamelessly. In Lin Feng's eyes, Zhang Yuxi was already his wife in high school. This is the woman who is destined to be his wife. But now, first of all, she has to untie her knot. Although Zhang Yuxi lived for a long time in the parallel world. But in this world, due to her arrival, it may affect the timeline and make her commit suicide. Her knot is like a time bomb that can explode at any time. So the most urgent thing is to help her untie the knot. Come on. Little girl, your noodles are ready. At this time, the boss came over with noodles. The awkward atmosphere between the two was somewhat eased. Zhang Yuxi breathed a sigh of relief and lowered her head. She was so nervous to be so close to Lin Feng, and her heart was pounding. Zhang Yuxi picked up the chopsticks and ate the noodles in small bites, occasionally brushing her hair off her forehead. Prevent her from accidentally falling into the bowl. Sure enough, my wife eats differently from others. She is so gentle, even eating is so beautiful. Lin Feng is probably crazy now. His eyes are full of Zhang Yuxi. He didn't expect his wife in high school to be so cute. Now he probably thinks that even if Zhang Yuxi farts, he will think it is fragrant. People often say that women in love have negative IQs. But now it seems that it is not only women, but also men. This is not it. Look at the silly smile on Lin Feng's face. Does he look like a person with normal IQ? Lin Feng ate noodles while watching his wife, and instantly felt that this noodle was more fragrant than before. In such an atmosphere, Zhang Yuxi was really too hard and too nervous to bear it, so she quickly ate half of it. Then she put down her chopsticks, paid the bill and slipped away. There was no way. When she ate, she always felt that Lin Feng was looking at her. That look was too hot, and it felt like she was about to burn her. What should she say to Lin Feng who suddenly appeared? In fact, she had a very subtle feeling. She didn't know if she liked this boy. But after these few days of contact, she didn't feel repulsive to Lin Feng. Maybe it was what Lin Feng said to her yesterday that resonated with her. Or maybe he looks very familiar to her, as if she had been with him in her previous life. Anyway, she won't hate him. Zhang Yuxi walked towards the classroom while thinking about it. Meanwhile, Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi's receding back and didn't come back to his senses for a long time. Hey, little brother. Everyone has left, why are you still watching? The boss couldn't help but joke when he saw Lin Feng's distracted look. Lin Feng came back to his senses. Hearing the boss's joke, he smiled awkwardly. You know what? This girl is really beautiful. I think she is much more beautiful than the stars on TV. Haha. This boss has a good eye. How can his wife's appearance be bad? Little brother, I'm telling you. Go after her if you like her, don't be shy. For girls of this age, as long as you pursue them with all your heart and shamelessly, you will definitely get them. When I was pursuing my wife, that was. When the boss talked about his past, his mouth was like a machine gun, bursting out. But there was one thing that the boss said was right. That is, if you like her, go after her, no matter whether you succeed or fail, you must not leave any regrets. In the previous life, Lin Feng had missed Zhang Yuxi in high school. In this life, he will definitely not miss her. Chapter 831. The taste is so strong. Lin Feng smiled. He put his school bag on his back and walked into the school humming a little tune. Today is another beautiful day. It feels so good to be young. As soon as Lin Feng put down his school bag, the boys in the class surrounded him instantly, with admiring eyes on their faces. Lin Feng was shocked by this scene. He crossed his hands, hugged them in front of his chest, and looked at everyone with a vigilant face. Hey, what do you want to do? I don't like men, but I'm straight. Lin Feng took a step back and said hurriedly. Hey. We know you don't like men, you like school beauties. Everyone said in unison. Oh my god, buddy. I didn't expect you to be so fierce, awesome. At this time, his desk mate Zhang Anmin came up, put his arm around Lin Feng's shoulders and smiled. What's going on? What are you talking about? Seeing the young version of Zhang Anmin, Lin Feng was stunned for a moment and couldn't help asking. Zhang Anmin was his high school desk mate, and Liu Bo was his college roommate. I don't know if I can see him again when I go to college. My dear, stop pretending. We all know that you went shopping and drinking milk tea with the school beauty Zhang Yuxi. Zhang Anmin nudged Lin Feng with his elbow and said with a smile. What? Lin Feng never expected this. A few days ago, he asked Zhang Yuxi out to play, but a student from the same school took a photo of them and posted it on the school forum. Now, All the classmates in the class think that he and Zhang Yuxi are having an affair. Although, they did have an affair. Okay, class is about to start. Everyone go home and find your mother. Lin Feng looked at the increasingly excited crowd and waved his hand. Ha ha ha, disperse, disperse. Everyone laughed and dispersed. Lin Feng shook his head, took out the high school math textbook from his bag and started reading. With his God-level learning ability, he quickly focused his mind and soon became addicted to studying and couldn't extricate himself. Learning makes people happy. After an unknown amount of time, Lin Feng was interrupted by the voice of his deskmate and stopped. No, buddy. Are you really reading or are you just pretending? Zhang Yanmin, his deskmate, looked at Lin Feng in surprise and said. Why, it's just reading a book. Is there any need to make such a fuss? Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yanmin helplessly and said. Buddy, this is not like you. Although your academic performance is not bad, as my deskmate, I have never seen you read a book so seriously. Tisk tisk tisk, buddy, you are not right. Zhang Yanmin looked at Lin Feng with the expression of a famous detective. Lin Feng also got playful for a while, pretending to look at Zhang Yanmin deeply. With a gloomy face, he said in a low and hoarse voice, you know too much? Fuck, buddy, you are not possessed by another body, are you? Or have you become a different person? Zhang Yanmin looked at Lin Feng in horror. You have read too many novels. Possession. Lin Feng's heart skipped a beat, but he still said calmly. That's true, but I can be sure. My friend, you are indeed a little abnormal today. I see, you are a good person, studying for love. Tisk, 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 I was right, the power of love is really unfathomable. Zhang Yanmin said with a lewd smile. Oh. Lin Feng smiled, and seeing that he had made up his mind, he said nothing more. He couldn't tell him, hey, brother, you are right, I just came back, I am standing in front of you, do you think I look like before? If he did that, I'm afraid someone would come to his door immediately and take him for slices. This picture is too beautiful to imagine. Lin Feng shook his head, drove away the distracting thoughts in his head, and re-entered the ocean of knowledge, indulging himself in it. He wanted to learn all the knowledge of the entire high school before the college entrance examination. Then he would go to the examination room easily, and then secretly surprise everyone and let everyone eat a lot. As for which university he would go to at that time? Of course it would be Yangcheng University. I just don't know where Zhang Yuxi will be admitted to at that time. If it wasn't Yangcheng University, forget it. How can a good brother be more important than a wife? That's the true nature of a man, ha ha ha. Thinking of this, Lin Feng's mouth curled up slightly. When his deskmate Zhang Yanmin saw Lin Feng like this, he trembled all over and got goosebumps all over his body. Hiss. The power of love is really so terrifying. He looked at the novel, then looked at Lin Feng, and couldn't help thinking in his heart. Women will only affect the speed of my sword drawing. Isn't it good to play King of Glory and read online novels? He shook his head and immersed himself in the novel again. There are beautiful women in the book. The ancients were not deceiving me. And on the cover of the novel in his hand, a few big words suddenly read, The Secret of the Female School Beauty. And I have to tell, this is not a serious novel. Lin Feng was addicted to studying, and the morning time passed unknowingly. Huh? Lin Feng woke up from the ocean of knowledge. He took a deep breath and stretched well. Finally, I finished reading all the mathematics in the second year of high school and understood it thoroughly. This system's God-level learning ability is really good. My dear, let's go and have dinner. Zhang Yanmin, his deskmate, said to Lin Feng. What, is it time for dinner? Lin Feng said in confusion. As expected, there is a golden house in books, which is fascinating. Let's go, what are you thinking about, my dear? Zhang Yanmin patted Lin Feng on the shoulder. Now in the third year of high school, there are basically no regular classes, and most of the time is reserved for everyone to review. So this morning, Lin Feng was reviewing, and no one came to disturb him. The two chatted while walking to the school cafeteria. Hey, my dear, look. Zhang Yanmin pointed at the window for serving food and said loudly to Lin Feng. Well, what? Lin Feng looked in the direction he pointed, and saw the plump cafeteria ant shaking the rice spoon, afraid of giving a little too much. My dear, your wife is serving food. Zhang Yanmin continued. Lin Feng. Your wife is getting food. Lin Feng glanced at the fat ant who was getting food again, gnashing his teeth with a black face. What the hell, it's Zhang Yuxi. Haven't you been getting close to her recently? Don't deny it, You went to the milk tea shop with him, and went out to play, and were seen by other classmates. Zhang Anmin said with a cunning look on his face. Oh, so you were talking about her. Now it was Lin Feng's turn to be embarrassed. Zhang Anmin thought for a while and said, damn, who else do you think it was? Zhang Anmin followed Lin Feng's line of sight and looked in the direction of the cafeteria and, fuck you. The taste is so strong. Zhang Anmin jumped up and said angrily. Chapter 832 sends you home. Okay, let's go get some food. Lin Feng was afraid that if he continued talking, Zhang Anmin would not know what to say. After all, a dog can't spit out ivory, so he quickly changed the subject. After the two finished their meal, then they found a place and sat down. Not far from them, Zhang Yuxi was alone, sitting in the corner eating. Her back was still so moving, but there seemed to be a trace of sadness on her delicate face. She was dazed for a while after eating a few bites, and seemed to have no appetite. It seems that her knot in her heart must be resolved as soon as possible. Otherwise, everything she did before will be in vain. Lin Feng thought secretly in his heart. Hey, buddy. Don't look at it, your soul will be hooked away if you look at it again. Zhang Anmin joked with disgust. Lin Feng came back to his senses, looked at Zhang Anmin with contempt, said nothing, and continued to eat with his head down. My dear, why don't you go over and say hello to her? I heard that you didn't come to school a few days ago because you went on a date with a school beauty. Zhang Anmin said to himself. Lin Feng didn't bother to pay attention to him, and continued to eat without raising his head. My dear, are you mute? Say something, don't be shy. Lin Feng put down his chopsticks, looked up at him, and said unhappily. You are the only one who talks so much? Even eating can't stop your mouth. My dear, I'm just worried about you, he. Zhang Anmin was not angry, and smiled heartlessly. Lin Feng glanced at him, said nothing, picked up the plate and stood up to leave. Hey, my dear, don't worry, you can't not eat even if you are angry. Zhang Anmin saw Lin Feng picking up the bowl and leaving, and said hurriedly. Lin Feng turned his head and rolled his eyes at him, and said speechlessly, didn't you ask me to go over and say hello? If I don't go, it would be a sham, so I had to go, and you can eat by yourself. Fuck. You really go. Zhang Anmin shouted. What else? Isn't this the result you want? Lin Feng said lightly. After that, he left without looking back. Fuck, you are a guy who has no humanity to the opposite sex, draw a circle and curse you. Zhang Anmin muttered softly. Hello, classmate. Do you mind if I sit here? Zhang Yuxi was in a daze, and was suddenly startled by the voice in her ear. Ah. She looked up, her eyes met Lin Feng's, and her face turned red instantly. Why is it him again? After having breakfast together in the morning, she was absent-minded all morning. Without waiting for Zhang Yuxi's consent, Lin Feng had already put down the plate and started eating by himself. Zhang Yuxi was so nervous and confused. Why don't you eat any more? Don't you have an appetite? Lin Feng put down his chopsticks and asked softly. Ah. No, no. Zhang Yuxi answered in a panic. Then she lowered her head and picked at the rice in the bowl. If you have any worries or unhappy things, you can tell me, maybe I can help you solve it. Lin Feng looked at her and said. No, it's okay, thank you. Zhang Yuxi said in a low voice. That weak voice made people want to protect her. It was dinner time, and there were more and more people in the cafeteria, and Zhang Yuxi was getting more and more nervous. Someone at the next table pointed at her and whispered to Lin Feng. Fuck. Isn't this guy the buddy from the forum? He's having dinner with the school belle. Did he really get the school belle? Awesome. Awesome class. Everyone whispered. And Zhang Yuxi heard all these words. Her face became redder and redder, and she lowered her head, burying her face in the plate. At this time, there were more and more people in the cafeteria, and the discussions of the crowd made Zhang Yuxi feel her face burning and extremely tormented. Zhang Yuxi just wanted to leave quickly now. So she put down her chopsticks, picked up the plate, and was about to leave the cafeteria. But Lin Feng grabbed her hand. Zhang Yuxi was startled, and the plate in her hand almost fell to the ground. Her face was burning badly, and she turned her head and said to Lin Feng with some shame and anger. You let me go. Hearing Zhang Yuxi's angry voice, Lin Feng couldn't help but curl up the corners of his mouth. This girl. Even when she is angry, her voice is still so sweet. Lin Feng let go of her hand, looked at her cute angry look, and said softly. When will you leave after school tonight? I'll take you home. No need. Zhang Yuxi said. I'll wait for you downstairs of the teaching building after school in the evening. It's settled. Zhang Yuxi was about to refuse, but Lin Feng didn't give her a chance. He just said it and turned around with the plate and left. Zhang Yuxi looked at Lin Feng's back, opened her mouth to say something, but swallowed it back. Happy times are always short. Lin Feng spent all his time studying except for eating, drinking, defecating and urinating. His god-level learning ability made him addicted to it. Ding-ling-ling. It was 9:30 in the evening, and the last evening self-study class was over. Lin Feng looked at his desk, the pile of materials and test questions like a small mountain, and couldn't help but smile. It was really interesting to study seriously. Lin Feng spent a whole day going through all the knowledge of high school. Not to mention mastering it all, at least he is now completely different from his previous level. In the next few days, he only needs to do a few more exercises to consolidate it. The college entrance examination is a tiger for others, but it is easy for him to catch it. Lin Feng tidied up the desk a little. Then he walked slowly towards Class 1, Grade 3, where Zhang Yuxi was. The reason why Lin Feng was not in a hurry was because he knew that Zhang Yuxi must not have left at this point. No other reason. Good students are like this, they will not leave the classroom until they have finished learning. As Lin Feng was thinking, he came to the door of Class 1 of Senior 3. He looked into the classroom. There were not many people in the classroom. The remaining few were studying hard. Hey. He looked around and didn't see the figure of Zhang Yuxi. Lin Feng thought to himself, damn, she was afraid of me and ran away in advance. He smiled self-deprecatingly and was about to turn around, but bumped into Zhang Yuxi who was coming towards him. You, why are you here? Zhang Yuxi said blushing as she looked at Lin Feng. Lin Feng looked at the direction Zhang Yuxi walked back. Haha, it turned out that this girl just went to the bathroom, no wonder there was no one. Lin Feng smiled and said softly and gently, didn't we agree that I would take you home? No, no need. I can go back by myself later. Zhang Yuxi said with a blush. In fact, she had been struggling for the whole afternoon, wondering whether she should run away early. But in the end, she didn't run away early. Maybe Lin Feng was just joking, she comforted herself like this. Don't say anything, pack up your things and let's go. Lin Feng said in an unquestionable tone. Zhang Yuxi had no choice but to go into the classroom to pack up. In fact, she had planned to go home. She had just gone to the bathroom and was about to leave when she came back, but she didn't expect to bump into Lin Feng. After Zhang Yuxi put away her things, she came out with a small school bag on her back. Lin Feng followed behind her, and the two of them left the teaching building one after the other. After reaching the downstairs, Lin Feng walked up to them, and the two walked side by side. The dim street lights in the campus lengthened their figures. The sound of each other's breathing came to their ears, and the atmosphere suddenly became a little subtle. Suddenly, Zhang Yuxi stopped and turned to look at Lin Feng. What's wrong? Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi and smiled, his voice indescribably gentle. Student Lin Feng. Actually, you don't have to do this, I can do it alone. Zhang Yuxi was silent for a long time, and finally mustered up the courage to speak. Silly girl, I'm worried. That's it, don't say anything. Lin Feng smiled and said softly. Although his voice was soft, the domineering tone was evident in his words. Classmate Lin Feng, you really don't have to do this. This will cause people to misunderstand, and I just want to review well for the college entrance examination. Zhang Yuxi said persistently. Misunderstanding? What misunderstanding? Isn't it something that everyone knows that I like you? Also, I just simply worry about you, so I wanted to send you home. Don't worry, I won't do anything that will affect your college entrance examination. Let's talk about it after the college entrance examination. Oh, by the way, although you are a top student, if you believe me, you can ask me if you don't understand anything in your studies in the future. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi's delicate face and said seriously. Zhang Yuxi opened her mouth to say something, but in the end she said nothing. Lin Feng had finished speaking, and she didn't know what to say. Okay, what do you mean by me, silly girl, let's go. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi's stubborn look and smiled. Just like that, the two of them were silent all the way, and under the dim street lights, their figures gradually overlapped. Chapter 833 Master Level Investment Ability. Days passed one by one. Life was repeating itself every day, and the day of the college entrance examination was getting closer and closer. During this period of time, Lin Feng had already mastered all the knowledge of the entire high school. The system rewarded him with a god-level learning ability, which was really not covered up. Lin Feng also went to class 1 of Senior 3 on time every night to pick up Zhang Yuxi home. The relationship between the two began to have some subtle changes. From the beginning, the two were silent every night, but now they chatted casually, and from time to time they would smile slightly at Lin Feng's jokes. Every time Zhang Yuxi smiled, Lin Feng would be deeply attracted and fascinated. The ancients once said that a smile can conquer a city. This is true for Bento. The 98 appearance determined by the system really does not contain a trace of water. The changes between the two, in addition to the factor of getting familiar with each other slowly. But in the final analysis, from the beginning, Zhang Yuxi did not reject Lin Feng in her heart. Zhang Yuxi also slowly got used to the feeling of having Lin Feng around every day. Zhang Yuxi's depression also began to fade slowly. Although she was still under great pressure and still had a bit of a haze in her mood, she had no thoughts of committing suicide. When Lin Feng was doing the questions that day, he suddenly heard the voice of the system. Ling. Zhang Yuxi's thoughts of committing suicide have been eliminated. Congratulations to the host for completing the task. Rewards are being distributed, rewards are distributed successfully, and the host has obtained the master level investment and financial management ability. Note, the master level investment and financial management ability allows the host to have extraordinary investment vision and can instantly analyze the risk and return of investment projects. If investing in stocks, with accurate analysis skills, the host will obtain more than 90% of investment profits. Investing in stocks can obtain more than 90% of profits, which is a sure win. After a while, I will invest all the money I earned from selling gold. Then I can double my money instantly. Tisk tisk tisk, system, this ability is amazing. After listening to the introduction of the system, Lin Feng thought happily. After the college entrance examination, I will enter the stock market and have my own startup capital. Lin Feng was thinking when his cell phone rang. Lin Feng answered the phone with some confusion. Hello, sir. Hello, sir. Are you the owner of the Ferrari 488 with license plate number XXX? The person on the other end of the phone asked politely. Yes, I am. Lin Feng replied. Hello, sir. It's like this. Our Huajing building is currently preparing for renovation, and we would like to ask you to temporarily drive your car to another parking lot of ours and park it first. When is it convenient for you to come and deal with it? The person on the other end of the phone explained. Oh, then, I'll drive it tonight. Lin Feng thought for a while and replied. Okay, sir. Thank you for your understanding. Sorry to bother you. I wish you a happy life. Goodbye. Yes. After hanging up the phone, Lin Feng thought about it. The Ferrari 488 had been driven once since that day, and it had been parked in the underground garage of Huajing building. It was probably covered with dust. If it were someone else, they would probably want to drive it out every day to show off, but Lin Feng only drove it once. There was no way he could do it because he had been obsessed with studying during this period and couldn't extricate himself. It's time to deal with it, and go out for a drive to relax. I've been studying a lot lately, and I need to refresh myself and change my mood. Zhang Yuxi's mood has also stabilized. It should be okay to let her go home alone tonight, Lin Feng thought. So at noon, Lin Feng found Zhang Yuxi in the cafeteria and told her that he had something to do tonight and couldn't send her home, so he asked her to go home early by herself. Well, Zhang Yuxi felt a little depressed when she heard Lin Feng say that he couldn't go home with her tonight, but she didn't show it. Lin Feng had been going home with her for a while, and suddenly she had to go home alone, which was a little unusual. Zhang Yuxi's mood has been a little low since the afternoon, and until the evening self-study class was over, she still habitually looked at the door of the classroom, expecting Lin Feng to appear. But after waiting for a long time, Lin Feng didn't show up. It was getting late, so Zhang Yuxi had to pack up and prepare to go back. On the other side, Lin Feng left school before it was time to finish school, because he had already told Huajin building that he would drive his Ferrari away. Although Zhang Yuxi didn't say anything at noon, how could Lin Feng, who was 2 generations older, not notice it? But Lin Feng didn't say anything either. He planned to wait and suddenly appear on Zhang Yuxi's way home to give her a surprise. After Zhang Yuxi packed her things, she walked home alone. Because Zhang Yuxi's home was only 20 minutes away from school, she was used to walking home every day and could relax on the way. During this period of time, Lin Feng accompanied her every day. Today, she was suddenly alone, and she felt empty in her heart. The distance that she thought was not far on weekdays became so long at this moment. Zhang Yuxi's thoughts were extremely confused. She actually didn't know what she thought of Lin Feng. When she first met Lin Feng, she thought he was a street urchin and didn't have much good feelings for him. But as time went by, she found that she seemed to be inseparable from Lin Feng. She felt that she had no aversion to Raymond Lam, but she had not yet risen to the level of liking him. This was what she felt. Moreover, she was now facing the college entrance examination. She was already under enough pressure and had no time to think about other things. It was just that she herself did not know that she had become more and more dependent on Raymond Lam. Just like tonight, Raymond Lam did not send her home. She felt empty in her heart, a little worried, as if something was missing. For her who had no experience in love, she had no idea that Raymond Lam had already occupied a place in her heart. Just when Zhang Yuxi was thinking about it, suddenly a few drunken hooligans came across her, talking loudly all the way. At this time, it was already 10:30 in the evening. Because she wanted to wait at school to see if Raymond Lam would show up. The time was a little later than usual, and there were few pedestrians on this road. She was startled by the sudden appearance of these people. She was a little scared, so she let her hair down to slightly cover her beautiful face, and her pace of walking could not help but speed up a bit. Just as she brushed past these drunks, she breathed a sigh of relief, and suddenly, "Stop!" A shout came from behind Zhang Yuxi. Zhang Yuxi paused, and her heart instantly became nervous and scared, and she hurriedly ran. "Stop, I'm talking to you, don't run." And the voice continued to come from behind. Zhang Yuxi was even more scared, and she felt wronged instantly, and her tears were about to flow down. She ran in a hurry. The drunks behind her were drunk and their physical strength was a little bit behind her, and they couldn't catch up with her for the time being. Zhang Yuxi wanted to shout for help, but there was almost no one on the road. Under the dim yellow street lights, there was only her shadow running desperately. She was so scared that she couldn't hold back her tears anymore. If it was more than a month ago, when she was depressed, she might not be so scared when she encountered such a thing. After all, she had the idea of suicidal thoughts, so would she be afraid of these? But now her mood has improved a lot under Lin Feng's careful guidance. She has not enjoyed her youth yet, and she no longer has the idea of committing suicide. She was running and crying, scenes of her being chased by bad guys kept flashing through her mind. Her tears couldn't stop flowing. The scene was scary to think about. Chapter 834, Love at First Kiss. As she ran, she felt her legs were a little numb. Girls don't have good physical strength to begin with, and she couldn't hold on for much longer since she had never exercised before. Behind her, the footsteps of the chase were getting closer and closer. She began to feel a little desperate, and she wanted to take out her phone to call the police. But in this situation, she was not allowed to stop at all. As long as she stopped, she would probably be caught up immediately. She was extremely desperate, and the first person she thought of at this time was Lin Feng. At this moment, she realized that Lin Feng had already left an indelible impression in her heart. She prayed in her heart that Lin Feng would appear, but she knew that this was unrealistic. How could such a coincidence happen? Boom, boom. Just when she was completely desperate. Not far away, there was a roar of a car engine. The dazzling lights of the car shone over, and she subconsciously closed her eyes. The few perverts chasing her were also forced to stop by the roar of the sports car and the dazzling lights, and the alcohol instantly sobered up a little. Squeak. The harsh sound of car tires rubbing against the ground sounded. The sports car stopped beside Zhang Yuxi. At this time, Zhang Yuxi opened her eyes and saw Lin Feng in the car. She looked at Lin Feng and couldn't control her tears anymore. Seeing this, Lin Feng immediately ran down from the car. The drunks behind him saw that the situation was not good and ran away immediately. In a hurry, two people bumped into each other, rolled on the ground, and quickly got up and continued to run. They disappeared into the night, as if they were not drunk at all. Seeing this, Lin Feng instantly understood what was going on. He wanted to chase and kill those drunks, but he was worried about Zhang Yuxi in front of him, so he had to give up. He hurried to Zhang Yuxi. At this time, Zhang Yuxi suddenly threw herself into his arms and kept crying. While crying, she beat his chest and sobbed. Woo woo woo. Why did you come now? Why did you come now? Lin Feng was also extremely regretful and self-blaming at this time. In her previous life, Zhang Yuxi had attempted suicide due to the pressure of the college entrance examination. Although she did not succeed, it was still quite scary. In this life, the appearance of Lin Feng was bound to make Zhang Yuxi in high school get rid of this idea. But because Lin Feng corrected her idea, the world arranged this to correct her fate? But this is too cruel! Exclamation mark. Fortunately, Lin Feng was there, and nothing happened. So after Zhang Yuxi survived this disaster, she should be smooth sailing in the future. Lin Feng thought to himself, it's good that nothing happened. Even God can't take away my woman, Lin Feng. He felt Zhang Yuxi's body trembling in his arms, and held her tightly so that she would no longer be afraid. Zhang Yuxi cried for a long time before she calmed down. If Lin Feng hadn't appeared just now, the consequences would be really unimaginable. She looked up at Lin Feng's face, which was not handsome but made people feel safe. She found that she had already liked Lin Feng. Under the dim street lights, the figures of the two people hugging each other were stretched very long. She stood on tiptoe and kissed him gently. This kiss made her forget herself. This kiss sealed their love. Under the dim street lights, it seemed as if they were the only two people left in the world. Zhang Yuxi thought, how nice it would be if they could stay like this for the rest of their lives. After the passion, Zhang Yuxi buried her head deeply in Lin Feng's arms. Just like an ostrich burying its head in the sand, she recalled the scene just now, her face flushed, and her heartbeat pounded. And Lin Feng also noticed Zhang Yuxi's strangeness. He smiled and hugged her tighter. After another 5 minutes, Zhang Yuxi finally recovered and her face was no longer hot. She struggled out of Lin Feng's arms and looked straight at him. Lin Feng felt a little scared when he was looked at by her. What's wrong with this girl? It seems that he has done nothing wrong, right? He was passive in all this. Of course, Lin Feng only dared to think about it in his heart. If he dared to say it out loud, I'm afraid that this girlfriend who was about to get him would fly away. The two stared at each other for a while, and Lin Feng raised his hands in surrender. What's wrong, looking at me like that? Lin Feng asked gently. Zhang Yuxi then said, forget what happened just now. Oh, are you afraid you can't forget it? That was my first kiss. Lin Feng said with a somewhat annoying expression. Zhang Yuxi was delighted to hear what Lin Feng said, but pretended to be nonchalant on the surface. Huh? I don't believe you, you are a playboy. Zhang Yuxi pouted and snorted. Lin Feng said a little aggrievedly, I swear, that was really my first kiss. I am so aggrieved, I haven't even touched a girl's hand. How can I be a playboy? Just after he finished speaking, Lin Feng suddenly remembered what happened just now and said a little embarrassedly. Of course, I haven't touched any girls except you, I swear. Huh? I heard from others that boys swearing is like farting, there is no credibility. Zhang Yuxi said with a look of doubt. Although what Zhang Yuxi said did seem to be true, and men seemed to swear often, many people could not do it, or they were all false lies. This seemed to be a kind of instinct of men. But Lin Feng was really wronged. He was telling the truth. He had lived 2 lives and lived for more than 60 years. His first kiss was dedicated to Zhang Yuxi. Zhang Yuxi couldn't help but smile when she saw Lin Feng looking wronged. Puff. Okay, I'll believe you for the time being. Zhang Yuxi said with a look of I'll believe you for the time being. Lin Feng. You looked so weak and like a goddess before, how come you became a different person after the relationship changed? This little hot pepper looking Zhang Yuxi is a brand new version you have never experienced. Lin Feng muttered in a low voice. What did you say? Zhang Yuxi raised her eyebrows and looked at Lin Feng and asked. Oh, no, I mean, it's late, I'll take you home first. Lin Feng waved his hand and said quickly. Scared, can't afford to offend. Well, just as the two were about to get in the car, Zhang Yuxi suddenly stopped. Wait a minute, did you forget something? She looked at Lin Feng and said. Huh? Forgot something? Nothing. Lin Feng touched the back of his head and said with a puzzled look. Huh? You big pig's hoof? Zhang Yuxi stamped her feet and got in the car angrily. After getting in the car, she also pouted and ignored Lin Feng. Lin Feng was confused. What did he forget? Question mark? I can't figure it out. There is no way, don't think about it for now. Lin Feng started the car, drove slowly all the way, thinking slowly all the way, and finally he got it. Chapter 835 Will you be my girlfriend? 5 minutes later. The car slowly stopped at the gate of Zhang Yuxi's community. Lin Feng opened the car door, and when Zhang Yuxi got out of the car, her expression was still a little angry. Lin Feng looked at her pouting little mouth, which was almost reaching her nose, so he smiled and said, Okay, don't be angry. I know what you mean, but I'm inexperienced. Wait for me. After saying that, Lin Feng ran away, and he didn't know what he was doing, leaving Zhang Yuxi stunned there with a confused face. After about a few minutes, Lin Feng ran back panting. Zhang Yuxi was wondering what he was doing, and Lin Feng took her little hand and moved to the gate of the community. As for why? Of course, he was afraid of being seen by Zhang Yuxi's father. If Zhang Fuiong broke his dog legs at that time, it would be more trouble than gain, so it's safer to be safe. After Lin Feng pulled Zhang Yuxi to the side of the community, he looked at her gently. Yuxi, although we have been together for this period of time, our relationship is actually self-evident. But today, I still want to formally confess to you once. Although there is no witness from others, the meaning of this time is different. Yuxi, I like you. I like you not on impulse or on a whim. I like you for a long time, so long that I lived to almost 50 in my last life, and I still like you so much, because no one can replace your position in my heart. If it is not you, I don't want to settle. Now, I don't want to hide my love for you. So, Yuxi, will you be my girlfriend? As Lin Feng said this, he took out a can ring from his pocket and slowly knelt on one knee. It turned out that Lin Feng had rushed to several convenience stores just for this. Time is in a hurry, and there is no time to prepare. I will use this can ring as a temporary substitute as our couple rings. I will take you to choose them in person tomorrow, okay? At this time, Zhang Yuxi was already in tears. She didn't expect Lin Feng to do so much for her. She cried because she was moved. Zhang Yuxi nodded, stretched out her right hand to Lin Feng, and Lin Feng gently put the can ring on her middle finger. Zhang Yuxi threw herself into Lin Feng's arms, crying and saying, Don't bully me in the future. Lin Feng nodded fiercely. Don't worry, you can only bully me, not me. Puchy, hate it. Zhang Yuxi burst into laughter and punched him. Yuxi, from now on you are my girlfriend, Lin Feng, he. Lin Feng smiled foolishly. Well, idiot. Zhang Yuxi looked at Lin Feng's silly look and replied. Yuxi, at this moment, I promise you here. In this life, I will not let down the Tathagata or you. Even if I let down the Tathagata, I will not let you down. Ding. Because the host has the courage to confess and has entered a new stage with Zhang Yuxi, the host will be given a random gift package. The reward will be distributed later. Please enjoy this moment, there is an unexpected gain. Not bad. After watching Zhang Yuxi enter the community, Lin Feng reluctantly withdrew his gaze. Boom. The engine of the sports car roared up, and it seemed so loud in this quiet night. Zhang Yuxi, who was going upstairs, also heard this sound. She showed a happy smile on her face, and the haze that had been shrouding her face for a long time also completely disappeared. The roar of the Ferrari engine was so loud that it woke up people who were about to fall asleep along the way. Fuck. Which rich second generation is not sleeping in the middle of the night and comes out to blow up the streets again? Similar voices were heard frequently on Lin Feng's way back. And Lin Feng didn't know all this. Even if he knew, Lin Feng would not pay attention. It was because he was in a good mood. Lin Feng, who was driving the car, had a smile on his face all the way. He was really happy. Zhang Yuxi, the school beauty goddess of Moto No. 3 Middle School, became his girlfriend. If he told others, I don't know how many boys would envy him to death. Ling. The system is distributing random gift packages. Do you want to collect them immediately? The crisp voice of the system sounded in Lin Feng's mind. Get it now. Lin Feng said without hesitation. Ding. Get it successfully. Congratulations to the host, you have obtained the perfect advertising planning ability. Note, with a perfect advertising planning ability, the host will have the God level that integrates the latest advertising planning in the previous life. This ability is permanent. This ability seems to be a bit useless. But at least it's free, better than nothing. Lin Feng thought about it and ignored it. He drove the car back to the parking lot of his community, locked the car and went home. Catcha. As soon as Lin Feng entered the door, he saw his father smoking and writing and drawing on the sofa, with a sad face. He didn't even hear the sound of him opening the door and coming in. It seems that he encountered some trouble. Dad? Lin Feng shouted. You're back. Where did you go so late? Lin Dashan looked up and glanced at Lin Feng and said, "Oh, this Dad. What do you mean by going out and coming back?" Although he did go out to play, Lin Feng ignored his father's words and asked, "Dad, what's wrong? Why do you smoke so many cigarettes?" Lin Feng asked while looking at the full ashtray on the table. "Oh, some work stuff, nothing, go take a shower and go to bed," Lin Dashan said casually, obviously not wanting to talk to Lin Feng more. Lin Feng knew what he meant, so he said, "Dad, what's the matter? Tell me, maybe I can help." Lin Dashan glanced at Lin Feng and said, "Business matters, what do you know as a little kid?" Lin Feng said helplessly, "Dad, I'm 18 years old, an adult, don't always treat me like a child, okay?" "Oh, you're still getting impatient, okay, I'll tell you, I'll see if you can help," Lin Dashan said. "It's like this, didn't your dad set up an advertising company the year before last? Although I haven't made much money these years, I can still make some hard-earned money. I raised you up with a lot of hard work." Lin Dashan glanced at Lin Feng and said, "Dad, can we not talk about shit and urine? Remember when I was a kid, you took me to the public toilet, you were smoking outside, and let me go into the toilet by myself, I almost fell into the pit and drowned. Now when I think about it, I still have a trauma. I was just a child," Lin Feng said with a bad face. "Oh, son, it was an accident, it was purely an accident. Ahem, let's talk about serious things," Lin Dashan said awkwardly. "Well, it's like this, now there's a big company bidding for advertising, and our family also wants to bid, but the company's people have made several plans, I'm not very satisfied, I always feel that it's not good enough." Lin Dashan cleared his throat and said slowly, "Advertising planning? Oh my god, this is not. The system is really awesome, it was prepared in advance. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels." Chapter 836 Boss, you talk too much? So, Lin Feng smiled and said with a relaxed look, "Hi. It's just an advertising proposal. What kind do you want? I'll make one for you." You? Do you know what an advertising proposal is?" Lin Dashan looked at Lin Feng with great disdain. "Oh, Dad, can't you trust me once? Is your son really that bad?" Lin Feng said helplessly. He was really not good enough in high school. But the problem is that now Lin Feng has lived 2 lives, plus he has a system. Isn't this a piece of cake? Okay, the company bidding this time is a mobile phone company, mainly engaged in communications business, so the main core of this proposal is to cross the era. Lin Dashan said a lot of things. He looked at Lin Feng while talking, wanting to see if he understood. As a result, Lin Feng nodded frequently and interrupted from time to time, feeling very professional. This made Lin Dashan, who originally had no hope, suddenly ignite a glimmer of hope in his heart. Maybe this kid can really give some surprises. Meanwhile, after listening to what Lin Dashan said, Lin Feng already had a rough plan in mind. Crosser? Just combine it with a mobile phone advertisement from the previous life, wouldn't it be beyond the times? This is simple. Okay, Dad, I have a rough plan. You should go to bed early, I'll give you the plan tomorrow, Lin Feng said casually. And Lin Dashan saw that he looked relaxed and casual. The glimmer of hope that had just been ignited was instantly extinguished. Lin Dashan waved his hand, motioning Lin Feng to take a shower and rest first. He lit a cigarette and continued to study the plan. Seeing him like this, Lin Feng obviously had no hope for himself. No one knows a father better than his son. Lin Feng didn't say anything else. When the plan was given to him tomorrow, he would know, and everything would be told by facts. So he got up and went back to his room, took his clothes and went to take a shower. After taking a shower, Lin Feng took advantage of the fact that there was still some time. He turned on the computer and made the advertising plan that Lin Dashan wanted. With a god-level perfect advertising planning ability given by the system, Lin Feng only spent half an hour to complete the advertising plan. After finishing, he went to bed. No words all night. Early the next morning, Lin Feng copied the mobile phone advertising plan he had made before going to bed last night into a USB drive and placed it on the coffee table in the living room, leaving this message and going out. Lin Feng slung his school bag over his shoulder. He was in a good mood, humming a little tune all the way to school. He had made an appointment with Zhang Yuxi last night. Meet at the small noodle stall outside the school and have breakfast together. Lin Feng walked briskly, and the journey that usually takes 30 minutes was shortened to 20 minutes. When Lin Feng arrived, it was still early at 7 o'clock, and there were not many people, and Zhang Yuxi had not arrived yet. It was estimated that she would not arrive for about 10 minutes, Lin Feng thought to himself. So Lin Feng took out his mobile phone and played with it boredly, and suddenly Lin Feng remembered. He and Zhang Yuxi have become boyfriend and girlfriend, but he doesn't even have Zhang Yuxi's mobile phone number, and he doesn't even have a WeChat or QQ account. Lin Feng shook his head and smiled. Actually, it's not Lin Feng's fault. Before, he would go directly to the classroom to wait for Zhang Yuxi, and on the way to send her home, the two of them were either silent or chatting casually. Although they gradually became familiar with each other, they didn't think of leaving each other's phone numbers, and then they suddenly decided to be together last night, and forgot about it in excitement. When Zhang Yuxi comes later, I'll ask her for it, and there's also the matter of couple rings. Well, I have to think about it carefully and give her a surprise then. Lin Feng thought while playing with his phone. After about 5 or 6 minutes, Lin Feng estimated that Zhang Yuxi would be here soon, so he said to the boss, "Boss, give me 2 servings of noodles, 1 beef noodle and 1 egg noodle." "Okay, I'll be right there." The boss responded enthusiastically. "But, little brother, the portion of noodles here is quite big. Are you sure you want to eat 2 servings so early in the morning?" The boss asked Lin Feng in surprise. "Oh, do I look like a person who can eat so much?" Lin Feng was embarrassed. "Boss, no, my girlfriend will come over later, so I ordered it in advance. I won't eat it alone." Lin Feng said embarrassedly. "Oh, is that so? Little brother, I remember you. Didn't you want to chase that beautiful girl? How come you suddenly have a girlfriend? Little brother, let me tell you, you can't be like this. Since you have a girlfriend, don't harm her. Don't do such a cheap thing. And your thoughts are not good." The boss said a lot without pausing. Lin Feng couldn't get a word in at all, and could only listen awkwardly. After talking for a long time, the boss finally stopped. He looked at Lin Feng with a look as if he was looking at a scumbag. Lin Feng looked at the boss helplessly with a wry smile on his face. "Boss, you talk too much?" Lin Feng was about to explain when Zhang Yuxi suddenly arrived. She saw Lin Feng from a distance, a shy smile appeared on her face, and then she walked towards Lin Feng quickly. The boss also saw Zhang Yuxi at this time. He remembered Zhang Yuxi, the girl who was prettier than a star. Before Lin Feng could speak, he said first, "Girl, I tell you, he is not a good person. You should stay away from him, otherwise you will be hurt." Zhang Yuxi just walked in front of Lin Feng and heard the boss say this. She looked at Lin Feng with a confused face. Lin Feng was also helpless at this time. "Boss, you not only talk too much, but also talk too fast." Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi, then pointed at her and said to the boss helplessly, "Boss, she is the person I am waiting for, my girlfriend." "Oh, so that's the case, little brother, why didn't you say it earlier? I misunderstood you. I thought you wanted to be the Chen Shimei." "Sorry, little brother, today's noodles, I will treat you to." The boss was a little embarrassed at this time and said awkwardly, "No, you should have given me a chance to say it earlier." Lin Feng lowered his head and muttered softly. The voice was very low, and only Zhang Yuxi next to him heard it roughly. Although she was still a little confused, she felt a little cute when she saw Lin Feng's frustrated look, and a smile appeared on her face. Lin Feng looked up and saw this scene, and was a little stupid. "Fool, what are you looking at?" Lin Feng came back to his senses after hearing Zhang Yuxi's words, and then he looked at the noodle stall owner and saw that the boss was looking at the two with an ant's smile. Lin Feng was a little embarrassed, and said to the boss, "My girlfriend, we are together, what are you laughing at, are you my dad?" Pa. What the hell? Lin Feng shook his head to get rid of those messy thoughts in his mind. He pulled Zhang Yuxi to sit down, not wanting to talk to the boss anymore. Soon the boss prepared the noodles and brought them up. Lin Feng explained to Zhang Yuxi what happened just now while eating. Zhang Yuxi listened and couldn't help but smile. Then she looked at Lin Feng with a serious face. "Humph, the boss is right, if you dare to play 2 women at the same time, I will cut you." While saying this, she made a scissors gesture with her hand. Then she blushed after she finished speaking. Chapter 837. Do you want to be Chen Shimei? Hearing Zhang Yuxi's words, Lin Feng's legs tightened immediately, and he felt his crotch cold. Yuxi, Yuxi, you were not like this before, you should pay attention to your image. Lin Feng said helplessly. From your expression, do you dislike me now? I don't. Do you really want to be Chen Shimei? Humph. Zhang Yuxi pouted her lips and said angrily. Oh, woman, you are unreasonable. Lin Feng certainly didn't dare to say this, because in his previous life, he had seen a couple quarreling on the street. The content of the conversation was roughly as follows. Hey, are you reasonable or not? The boy said angrily. What? You still want to reason with me? I am with you to fall in love, not to listen to your reasoning. If you want to reason, then go with your mother. The girl said loudly. Oh. The boy was speechless. Speak, speak. The girl roared. I said I. The boy was interrupted before he finished speaking. I won't listen, I won't listen. I won't listen to anything you say. The girl said. When Lin Feng recalled it now, he still had a fear of being dominated. So reasoning with a woman? That's courting death. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi's pouting mouth and said to her gently. Okay, I'm sorry, I was wrong, don't be angry. How could I want to be Chen Shimei? I have you in my life, what else can I ask for? You are enough. Meeting you, knowing you, understanding you, and loving you is the greatest luck in my life. How could I not cherish you, silly girl? Okay, don't be angry, being angry is not good for your health. Lin Feng's extremely gentle tone and attitude of admitting mistakes made Zhang Yuxi very happy. So, Zhang Yuxi's anger subsided. Humph, I forgive you this time, but if there is a next time, I will never forgive you. After saying that, her face returned to normal. Women are really like the weather in July and August, they change as soon as they say. Seeing that Zhang Yuxi is not angry anymore, Lin Feng's mouth curled up slightly. The method taught on the internet in the previous life really worked. In the previous life, someone left a message on the internet saying that for women, what they care about is your attitude. As long as you are sincere and admit your mistakes, nothing will happen. The two of them laughed again, and the scene was harmonious. After the two finished eating noodles, although the boss just said that he would treat them today, Lin Feng still insisted on paying the bill. After all, it is not easy for others to run a small business, and is Lin Feng a person who is short of that little money now? People who make more than 5 million yuan a year without doing anything, they are rich and willful. Up the lying and making money here, don't think about it in a wrong way, it means seriously. Lin Feng naturally held Zhang Yuxi's hand, and the two walked towards the school. Zhang Yuxi is about 168 centimeters tall, and Lin Feng is 182 million tall, a standard figure of a handsome man. He is just half a head taller than Zhang Yuxi. The two of them walked together like a pair of golden boys and jade girls. This noodle stall is not far from the 3rd middle school of Shanghai. Fortunately, it is still early and there are not many people. Otherwise, they will be seen holding hands. That will definitely cause a big uproar. Zhang Yuxi, who was held by Lin Feng's hand, was a little shy and blushed. She looked like a little woman, which made her more attractive. Lin Feng was actually not calm. It was also his first time to fall in love with Zhang Yuxi in high school. Although he had been with Zhang Yuxi for a long time in his previous life, he had never met her in high school. So, it was a different feeling to do it now. After all, he had no experience. The two walked hand in hand for a while. When they were about to reach the school gate, in order to avoid unnecessary trouble, they decided to let go of each other's hands and walk separately, one in front and one behind. Zhang Yuxi looked at Lin Feng with a blushing face. Then I'll go in first. Zhang Yuxi looked up at Lin Feng and said, her eyes full of reluctance. She was in love and didn't want to be separated from Lin Feng for a second. Well, be good, go. Lin Feng rubbed her head and said gently. After the two separated, they each returned to their respective classrooms. Although their classrooms were in the same building, they were not on the same floor. Lin Feng's science class is on the 4th floor, while Zhang Yuxi's liberal arts class is on the 2nd floor. So every day Lin Feng would go downstairs to wait for her. After returning to the classroom, Zhang Yuxi began a day of study. After all, love is fine, but it can't affect study, right? The most important indicator for maintaining a relationship is for two people to work hard together and make progress together. If one person walks too fast and the other falls too much, slowly, the two will be separated. During this period, Lin Feng would not come to disturb her. There were only a few days left before the college entrance examination. He didn't want to affect Zhang Yuxi because of himself. After all, Zhang Yuxi was not like him. She didn't have a god-level learning ability. She really relied on her own efforts to study little by little to achieve the current results. So the god-level learning ability that Lin Feng possessed was the ability that many people dreamed of. I can only say that the system is really awesome. Soon, a day passed in study, and time came to the afternoon. After school this afternoon, both of them chose not to go home. After all, it was troublesome to go back and forth. So in the evening, Lin Feng took Zhang Yuxi and the two had dinner in the school cafeteria. After dinner, the two came to the school playground to walk and digest. The two walked around the playground again and again. There were a few students exercising on the playground. The two walked outside the playground and did not attract much attention. After all, there were one or two couples walking on the playground every day. The setting sun cast a warm yellow light, stretching the figures of the two people, like a cartoon. And the elongated figures under the setting sun will soon dissipate as the sun sets. Just like our youth that will eventually pass away. Chapter 838 Master Plan. Just when Lin Feng was walking with Zhang Yuxi on the school playground, his father, Lin Deshan, was frowning at this time, worrying about the bidding for the advertising plan. In the small meeting room of Xingcheng Advertising Planning Company, Limited, Lin Deshan sat in the main seat, listening to the people below reporting on the progress of the advertising plan. After looking at several plans in a row, Lin Deshan was not satisfied with any of them. If he bid with such a plan, he would probably be eliminated. He frowned and smoked one cigarette after another. He really wanted to take over this project. If this project was completed, the profit would be equal to his current 2-year income. What's more important, if he could get a chance to work with this large enterprise, he would make a lot of money if they gave him a few planning projects in the future. Lin Deshan was worried, and the people below saw that the boss was worried, and they all lowered their heads and dared not speak. No one dared to touch his brows at this time. After Lin Deshan put out the cigarette butt in his hand, he tapped the table with his fingers, and then pointed at a man with a Mediterranean hairstyle and said, "Old Chen, tell me, what should we do in this situation?" Old Chen, who had a Mediterranean hairstyle, thought for a while and said in a deep voice, "Boss Lin, the biggest problem we are facing right now is that the level of our planners is limited. This large-scale advertising plan has exceeded our level." When Old Chen said this, the people around him lowered their heads even more. After all, what Old Chen said was right. They lacked experience in large-scale advertising plans. It was really difficult for them to come up with one all at once. Old Chen continued, "Boss Lin, I think the only way to break the deadlock now is to ask for external help, but there are several problems with this. Almost all the advertising planning companies of all sizes in the entire Magic City participated in this bidding. At this time, it is estimated that it is impossible to find useful external help in the city. If we find advertising planning companies in other provinces and cities, I am afraid that we will not have enough time, and even if we can barely rush it out, the quality is estimated to be inferior to the carefully prepared plans of other companies. So, Boss Lin, this time, how about we, Xingcheng, give up the bidding?" Old Chen said unwillingly. After all, more than 10 people have been busy for more than half a month. Giving up at this time is probably not good for everyone. After listening to Lao Chen's words, Lin Deshan actually knew that there was only this one result, but he was really unwilling to give up. This opportunity was rare. He felt really bad to give up like this. Lin Deshan actually has an ambition in his heart, or an ideal. For so many years, the Xingcheng Advertising Planning Company, Limited, he found it has not had a good opportunity to develop. It has always been making a little money. When he was young, his dream was to use Xingcheng Advertising Planning Company, Limited as a springboard to make a career. But so many years have passed, and he has been living in the Magic City. At best, it is just a small company with an annual income of several million. This large enterprise bidding is an opportunity to get into the eyes of everyone. It is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. But he is really unwilling to give up. He reached out and took the briefcase on the table, ready to take out another pack of new cigarettes to smoke, but his fingers suddenly touched a small metal object. He then remembered that this was the USB flash drive that Lin Feng had put on the coffee table when he left in the morning, and left a message saying that the advertising plan he had made was in it. Lin Deshan didn't take it too seriously. After all, how good could the advertising plan made by Lin Feng, a high school student, be? Lin Feng probably thought it was as simple as making a PPT. After breakfast, Lin Dashan received a call from a client and was in a hurry to go out, so he put the plan in his briefcase. Later, he forgot about it when he got busy. Now if the cigarettes on the table hadn't run out and he had to take new ones to smoke, he probably wouldn't have thought of it. After Lin Dashan took out a USB flash drive, he held it in front of his eyes and looked at it, then handed it to Lao Chen. Lao Chen, there's a plan in it, open it and let everyone see it. In fact, Lin Dashan didn't have any hope for this, but just wanted to give it a try. Okay, Mr. Lin. Lao Chen took the USB flash drive, inserted it into the computer, and opened the file. Lin Dashan absent-mindedly lit a cigarette and smoked it. Huh? After Lao Chen quickly swiped the mouse to flip through a few pages, he jumped up instantly. Because he hadn't projected it onto the big screen yet, everyone looked confused. Boss Lin, where did you get this plan? Lao Chen stood up and said loudly, with a tremor in his voice. What's wrong, Lao Chen? Why are you so startled? Lin Dashan saw him like this and asked in confusion. Lao Chen, who is usually mature and steady, suddenly got so startled. Boss Lin, take a look for yourself. Lao Chen projected the document onto the big screen with trembling hands. Everyone looked at the big screen and was shocked after reading a few pages. Bang! Good. 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 Lin Dashan was so excited that he slammed the table and stood up. His voice couldn't hide his excitement. Everyone couldn't wait to finish reading the entire advertising plan. After more than 10 minutes, everyone came back to their senses from the shock, but everyone opened their mouths and couldn't speak for a long time. Chapter 839 Mom, my youth is over. Lin Dashan couldn't believe it. This was the advertising plan made by his son. He hesitated for a moment, then said, Old Chen, what do you think of this plan? Boss Lin, you flatter me too much? This plan is simply perfect to the extreme. How dare I have an opinion? Old Chen with a Mediterranean hairstyle said with a wry smile. Boss Lin, since you have such a perfect plan, why do you still want us to get those plans, making all of us nervous? It turns out that you have already made up your mind. Old Chen said with a wry smile again. Lin Dashan looked at Old Chen, and then said, Old Chen, if I say that I haven't seen this plan and don't know that this plan is so perfect, do you believe it? Lin Dashan said with a serious look. Oh, everyone. Boss Lin, stop joking. I also want you to find this master for me. Old Chen smiled helplessly, thinking, why does Boss Lin always like to show off today? Old Chen, I'm not joking, I'm serious. Lin Dashan said with a serious face. Old Chen thought about it carefully. It seems to be true. Just now Mr. Lin was also shocked. Mr. Lin, where did you get this plan? Old Chen asked in confusion. Well, Old Chen, you just said that the level of the person who can make this advertising plan is at least master level. Lin Dashan said in disbelief. Yes, Mr. Lin, such a talent. I guess there are so many companies scrambling to get it with an annual salary of 1 million. Mediterranean Old Chen said. Fuck, is it so amazing? Lin Dashan said in surprise, and even cursed. When Old Chen saw Lin Dashan like this, he smiled bitterly with some helplessness in his heart. Mr. Lin, I may still be too low, after all, my level is limited, and I guess I can't make such a plan until I die. Oh, so this kid can make more money than me with just an advertising plan. Lin Dashan couldn't hear what Old Chen said next. He muttered to himself. Boss Lin, what did you say? Old Chen couldn't hear what Lin Dashan said, so he asked. Oh, I just said my son. Oh, by the way, this advertising plan was made by my son. I mentioned it to him last night, and then he gave it to me this morning, and then I didn't take it seriously and forgot about it. Lin Dashan said casually. What? Boss Lin, are you saying that this plan was made by your son? Old Chen said excitedly. Well, yes, he said last night it was very simple, just give it to him and do it casually. Lin Dashan said lightly. I'm going to, just do it casually, is it so Versailles? Old Chen muttered in his heart. Then Boss Lin, where's your son doing well? Old Chen asked respectfully. Him? He is studying in the number 3 middle school in Magic City. Oh, isn't he preparing for the college entrance examination? Lin Dashan said casually. Old Chen and the others were all speechless. Such a perfect advertising plan was actually made by a high school student. They felt the deep malice from the world. At this moment, they had only one thought in their hearts, that is, Have they lived a dog's life at such an old age? Well, Mr. Lin's son must be a genius. There is no way that geniuses are always so unreasonable. They can only comfort themselves in this way, the method of spiritual victory. Old Chen thought for a while and said, Mr. Lin, since this advertising plan was made by your son, I will just take it to the bid. This time, our Xingchang will definitely win the bid. Old Chen patted his chest and promised solemnly, as if he had made this plan. His face was full of pride. Oh, okay, then you can do it. At this time, there was no trace of worry on Lin Deshen's face. Lin Deshen muttered softly, this stinky boy, when did he have this ability? I didn't even know it, and it made me worry for a long time here. No, I must deal with him when I go back tonight. Lin Deshen's muttering was heard by Old Chen. Old Chen was speechless again. It was obvious that someone had already given it to you, but you forgot about it and now you have to go back to deal with him. This is totally unreasonable. If Lin Deshen could hear what Old Chen was thinking, he would definitely refute it on the spot. Just because I'm his father, why should I be reasonable? After everyone studied it again, based on their level, there was no loophole in this plan. It was really perfect to the extreme, and it was simply a textbook level thing. So everyone was full of confidence in this bidding, and the whole conference room changed from the gloomy clouds just now, and suddenly became bright. At this moment, Lin Deshen just wanted to go home and deal with Lin Feng, just because Lin Feng was his son. Hu. At this time, Lin Feng, who was walking with Zhang Yuxi, couldn't help but sneeze. What's wrong? Did you catch a cold? Zhang Yuxi asked with concern. It's okay, my nose is just a little itchy, don't worry, I'm in great shape. Lin Feng bent his arms to show his muscles. Puff. Zhang Yuxi was amused by his funny look. The two were about to go to the classroom. It was time to indulge in study again. Lin Feng muttered to himself as he walked, which bastard was scolding me just now? Time passed quickly, and it was time for the evening self-study get out of class trend. Lin Feng came to the door of Zhang Yuxi's classroom on the second floor as usual. It was a little early today, and there were still many people in the classroom of Class 1 of Senior 3. Lin Feng's sudden appearance attracted everyone's attention. Zhang Yuxi also noticed Lin Feng. Seeing Lin Feng, Zhang Yuxi smiled sweetly. Fuck, isn't this the awesome god? Oh my, why is he here? Is he here to find Zhang Yuxi? Everyone was talking about it. Just when everyone was confused, Zhang Yuxi put down the pen in her hand, stood up and walked towards Lin Feng. Oh my. What's going on? Everyone looked at Zhang Yuxi with a look of eating melons. After Zhang Yuxi walked to the door, she smiled sweetly and spoke. You're here. Oh my god, my goddess is actually smiling. Oh my god. I've never seen my goddess smile like this. My heart is melting. All the men in Zhang Yuxi's class were furious. Well. Lin Feng reached out and touched Zhang Yuxi's head and smiled gently. Zhang Yuxi was so embarrassed by Lin Feng's action that her face turned red all the way to her neck. She whispered. Wait for me, I'll pack my things and be ready soon. Well, go ahead. Lin Feng replied. The onlookers were all stunned. Stunned, with their mouths open and unable to speak. After a while. Hiss. Pat your head. Tell me this isn't true. Mom, my youth is over. Zhang Yuxi's face turned red as fire when she heard these discussions. She quickly packed her things and ran away with Lin Feng. That's right, they ran away. Leaving everyone in the classroom stunned, staring at their disappearing backs, disheveled in the wind. After a while, a boy with acne all over his face murmured, Is this still the goddess I knew? My youth is over. Chapter 840 You Can Only Belong to Me. Zhang Yuxi took Lin Feng's hand and ran downstairs quickly. She then slowly slowed down her pace, her heart pounding like a deer. She was so nervous just now. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi's pretty and blushing face, which was very cute. Zhang Yuxi looked up at Lin Feng, and saw that he was smiling, and she was furious. She couldn't help but hit Lin Feng's chest and said coquettishly. It's all your fault, you're still laughing. Lin Feng gently scratched Zhang Yuxi's nose and laughed. Ha ha ha. My wife, even when she's angry, she's so cute. Zhang Yuxi slapped Lin Feng's hand away, pouted, and didn't want to pay attention to him anymore. Okay, don't be angry. You'll become ugly when you're angry. Lin Feng touched Zhang Yuxi's little face and said. I'm not going to pay attention to you. Zhang Yuxi snorted coldly. Okay, I was wrong. My dear wife, please forgive me. Lin Feng held Zhang Yuxi's shoulders and turned her head. HMPH, who is your wife? I didn't agree to marry you. Zhang Yuxi pouted and said coquettishly. You are my wife. There is no one else here except you. If you are not me, who else can be my wife? Lin Feng said gently. HMPH, there are some cats and dogs here. They are, but I am not. Zhang Yuxi said stubbornly. Yuxi, Lin, once said that I will not marry anyone else in this life. And you, Zhang Yuxi, can only be my wife, Lin Feng. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi seriously and said a little overbearingly. HMPH, Lin. It's not impossible for me to be your wife, but it depends on your performance, otherwise I will dump you. Let you cry. Zhang Yuxi snorted. Yuxi, don't think about running away in this life, you can only belong to me. If there is reincarnation in this world, I will find you in the next life, for generations to come. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi seriously and hugged her in his arms, and said gently. Hey, so disgusting. Zhang Yuxi whispered in Lin Feng's arms, unable to hide her happiness in her voice. The two of them were affectionate for a while, and then Zhang Yuxi struggled out of Lin Feng's arms, her face flushed. After a while, the two continued to walk forward. Hey, isn't that the stinky boy from my family? Lin Dashan drove by and suddenly saw Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi. Originally, Lin Dashan had just finished his work at the company and wanted to come to the school to take Lin Feng home together, but he saw this scene. This stinky boy. But this girl is really good looking. Lin Dashan said to himself. Although the distance was far and it was just a glimpse, Lin Dashan could still see that Zhang Yuxi was really good looking. Huh? This stinky boy. I haven't settled the account with him for the planning plan today, and now he is secretly flirting with girls. Let me see how I will deal with him when I get home later. Lin Dashan thought to himself. Poor Lin Feng, at this time, he didn't know what he would face when he got home later. He was talking and laughing with Zhang Yuxi all the way with a happy face. After Lin Feng sent Zhang Yuxi home, he walked slowly towards the house while humming a little tune. Catcha. Lin Feng opened the door and walked in. As soon as he entered the door, he saw his parents sitting on the sofa watching TV. Dad, Mom, I'm back. Why don't you rest so late? Lin Feng asked casually. After that, Lin Feng was about to go into the room to put his things. Smelly boy, wait a minute. Lin Dashan said. Dad, what's wrong? Lin Feng put his school bag on the sofa and sat down and asked. Why are you back so late today? Lin Dashan looked at Lin Feng and asked. Dad, I come back at this time every day. Lin Feng said. Really? Why don't I know? Lin Dashan asked puzzledly. Dad, that's because you don't have me in your eyes, and you still have the nerve to say it. Lin Feng said helplessly. This dad has always been so unreliable. When he was a child, Lin Dashan once took him to learn swimming. Others would put swimming rings and watch their children carefully, but what did Lin Dashan do? As soon as he arrived at the swimming pool, he threw himself in, and then laughed at his own struggling in the water. Now think about it, it is really not easy for him to survive and grow up. Just as Lin Feng was recalling the shadow of his childhood, Lin Dashan asked again. The advertising plan you made today, did you make it last night? Lin Dashan pretended to ask casually. Well, I just did it before going to bed last night. How is it? Can it be used? Lin Feng picked up the apple on the table and asked while eating it. Just did it casually. Lin Dashan was a little speechless. If it wasn't for Lao Chen saying today that the person who made this advertising plan has at least the advertising planning ability of a master with an annual salary of 1 million. Lin Dashan, really believed Lin Feng's nonsense and did it casually. Today, Lao Chen in our company said that this advertising plan is perfect to the extreme, at the level of a master. Lin Dashan looked at Lin Feng and spoke slowly. He wanted to see what Lin Feng's reaction was. Zhou Qilin, who was standing by, was watching the conversation between the two people, somewhat confused, not understanding, and had no idea what they were talking about. Lao Lin, what are you two talking about? What advertising plan? Zhou Qilin couldn't help but ask. Wife, let me tell you, I mentioned this guy to him last night about a company's advertising bidding, and then this guy helped me make an advertising plan. Lin Dashan saw his wife's curious face, and then he said. No, Lao Lin, what's wrong with you? My son is preparing for the college entrance examination, why did you ask him to do this? Aren't you affecting my son's studies? Joe Killen instantly exploded, pointing at Lin Dashan's nose and scolding. Oh. Lin Dashan looked embarrassed and didn't dare to speak. Seeing his father like this, Lin Feng couldn't help laughing. And you are about to take the college entrance examination, why don't you review well, and get involved? Joe Killen turned around and said angrily. Mom, don't be angry, it's a very simple thing, I didn't spend much time on it, it won't affect my studies, don't worry. Lin Feng said with a flattering face. Not only his father is afraid of his mother's majesty, but he is also afraid of it, because he ate pork fried with rattan sticks a lot when he was a child. Wife, let me tell you, I didn't want him to get involved, he just insisted on doing it. Lin Dashan shirked responsibility. Oh, Dad, you don't talk about the code of conduct. Lin Feng said. Huh? Lin Dashan glared at Lin Feng. It's better to die than to die at this time, what's the code of conduct? Lin Dashan thought to himself. Oh. Lin Feng was so shocked by Lin Dashan's glare that he shrank back his words. Joe Killen was about to scold Lin Dashan, but Lin Dashan said hurriedly. Wife, these are not the main points. The main point is, do you know how powerful the things this kid made are? Even the veteran of our company, the old Chen with a Mediterranean hairstyle, you have met him, said that his son has at least the planning level of a master. Lin Dashan said calmly. What do you mean, old Chen with a Mediterranean hairstyle? He works hard for you. How can you say that about him? Joe Killen rolled her eyes at Lin Dashan, and then continued. Even such a steady old Chen praised our son. Son, you are good. You are worthy of being born by me. Oh, Mom, are you praising me or yourself? Lin Feng smiled helplessly. Is there any difference? Joe Killen said casually. Lin Feng. Well, you are my mother, you have the final say. Lin Feng muttered in a low voice. No, wife, do you know what master level planning level means? Annual salary of 1 million, and old Chen said it may be more than that. Tisk, 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 tisk. Our Xingchang advertising company, after deducting various expenses, only makes 800,000 or 900,000 a year. Your son can easily earn 1 million a year. Lin Dashan sighed. Oh? That much? Son, so to speak, even if you fail to get into college through the college entrance examination, you won't starve to death if you work outside. Joe Killen said seriously. Lin Feng. Lin Dashan. Lin Feng was a little helpless. How could his mother be so unreliable? Her way of thinking was really strange. Now that he thought about it, how did he survive these 18 years? Chapter 841 Showdown with Parents. Lin Feng sat on the sofa and chatted with his mother about family matters for a while. He looked at the time and it was getting late. He was ready to get up, take a shower and go to bed. He had to get up early tomorrow to have breakfast with Zhang Yuxi. Lin Feng raised his butt and was about to leave when he was stopped by Lin Dashan. What happened to his dad today? So many things? Lin Feng muttered in his heart. Dad, what's wrong again? I haven't taken a shower yet. Lin Feng said helplessly. Why are you in such a hurry? Did you do something wrong and are in a hurry to run? Lin Dashan said unhappily. No, Dad, don't talk nonsense, what wrong can I do? Lin Feng denied that his dad was wrongly accusing a good man. Well, I haven't finished talking about what happened just now. When did you learn this advertising plan? Lin Dashan looked at Lin Feng and asked. Well, I'm just interested in it. I learned it by myself when I have free time. Lin Feng made up a reason casually. Anyway, it's right to say so. Lin Dashan couldn't do anything about him. He couldn't say that it was a power given by the system, right? That would scare them to death. And now, if he took out all the gold bars stored in the system space, he would have at least several hundred million. If he hadn't been afraid of trouble and being found by the police, he would have become a billionaire long ago. But he still had to find an opportunity to let them know that he was rich. He also had to find a suitable thing to cover up the source of the money. Well, let's talk about these after the college entrance examination. Self-study. Could this kid be a genius in advertising planning? Lin Dashan muttered in his heart. He looked up at Lin Feng and said. For the advertising planning, let's consider your explanation reasonable, but... At this point, Lin Dashan paused and continued, let me ask you, you came back directly after the evening self-study tonight. Huh? What does Dad mean? Something is wrong. Lin Feng thought to himself. Well, no, I was out for a while, and then I came back. Dad, why are you asking this? Lin Feng said ambiguously. Yes, Lao Lin, why are you asking this? You usually don't ask about these things to your son, why are you asking this today? Zhou Qilan spoke for her son. When Lin Feng heard Zhou Qilan's words, he sighed in his heart. Sure enough, his mother still loves him, Lin Dashan said slowly, when I came back tonight, I passed by the 3rd middle school of Magic City, and I seemed to see you. After saying that, he glanced at Lin Feng, and this look was somewhat meaningful. Oh, could it be that Dad saw me and Zhang Yuxi together? Lin Feng's mind was spinning quickly, and he couldn't figure out what his father meant by this sentence. Hey, Lao Lin, I remember you came home at 10:30, you are really? Since you saw your son when you came back, why didn't you take your son back, and let your son walk back by himself? Are there any people like you? Zhou Qilan stood up for Lin Feng and scolded Lin Dashan. After Lin Feng heard what his mother said, he instantly understood what his father meant. 10:30. He was on his way to send Zhang Yuxi home when his father saw him. Thinking of this, Lin Feng instantly understood, so he looked at his mother, then looked at his father, and then said, Yes, Dad, you are not wrong, that is me. Lin Feng admitted it directly. Anyway, he could not escape the first day, so he might as well say it directly. Seeing Lin Feng admit it directly, Lin Dashan looked at him meaningfully. Who was the girl with you at that time? Lin Dashan also said directly. What? Girl? Zhou Qilan said in surprise. Lin Feng ignored his mother's surprise and said directly. Oh, she is Zhang Yuxi. Huh? Lin Dashan and Zhou Qilan said in unison. Both of them were a little surprised. The name was familiar. That's right. I heard that there is a very beautiful girl named Zhang Yuxi in Modu number 3 middle school. Comma. Dot. 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 As a result, Zhou Qilan said, Son, what is the personality of Zhang Yuxi, my daughter-in-law? Lin Feng. Lin Dashan. Oh, Mom, Zhang Yuxi is very beautiful and has a good personality. Lin Feng said embarrassedly. Son, it's okay. I thought you were chasing her, but I didn't expect you to get her. Zhou Qilan changed her attitude of rejecting premature love. Hey, my wife. Your son is in premature love now, and he is also preparing for the college entrance examination. Lin Dashan said helplessly. Don't talk. This is none of your business. Zhou Qilan glared at Lin Dashan and scolded. Oh, Lin Dashan looked embarrassed, and he muttered in a low voice, Well, I don't even have the right to speak, so you just spoil him. What are you mumbling about? Go to bed if you have nothing to do. You are in the way here. Zhou Qilan looked at Lin Dashan with disgust and said. Okay, I'll go to sleep. I can't afford to offend you, but I can't afford to hide. After saying that, Lin Dashan looked proud, but he went back to the house in a dejected manner. After watching Lin Dashan go into the house, Zhou Qilan turned to look at Lin Feng and said, Son, although Mom doesn't object to you dating, you are about to take the college entrance examination. Even if you don't care about the college entrance examination, the girl is worried about you, so you can't let dating affect your studies. You are 18 years old, an adult, and you have your own ideas, but before you do anything, Mom, I hope you will think about the consequences. Zhou Qilan said earnestly. Mom, I understand. I have been studying hard for the college entrance examination. I am also very confident. As for her, we usually study separately. It's just that it's too late after school, so I just send her home. Don't worry, it won't affect our studies. If love lasts for a long time, it doesn't matter if you are together day and night. Mom, I understand all this. Lin Feng explained to Zhou Qilan with a serious face. After all, a relationship can only be considered complete if it can be recognized by parents. After hearing Lin Feng's words, Zhou Qilan was relieved. Son, Mom is relieved to hear you say that. You are still young and you will have a lot of time together in the future, so focus on the college entrance examination first. Besides, the college entrance examination is only a few days away. After the college entrance examination, you should go on a date. Mom will not control you. However, as a man, you must be responsible for the girl's future and cannot let her down. Do you understand? Mom, I understand, don't worry. Lin Feng nodded. Well, after the college entrance examination, bring the girl to our house for dinner. Mom also wants to see what this future daughter-in-law looks like. My son is so obsessed with her, haha. Zhou Qilan said with a smile. Okay, I'll talk to her then. Lin Feng agreed. Well, Mom is waiting. Okay, Go take a shower and go to bed. You have to go to school tomorrow. Joe Killen said to Lin Feng. Okay. After that, Lin Feng got up and went back to his room. Chapter 842. He has a strong desire to survive. After taking a shower, Lin Feng lay on the bed, thinking back to his previous life. In his previous life, he missed Zhang Yuxi's best youth, and also missed the difficult years when Zhang Yuxi gave birth to Sibao. In this life, Lin Feng wants to make up for these regrets. Because in his heart, no one can replace Zhang Yuxi's position in his heart. Fortunately, now, God has given him a chance to start over, so that he has the opportunity to make up for all the regrets in his previous life. Now it has been almost 2 months since he traveled back to Zhang Yuxi's high school days. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi have made rapid progress. He has successfully made her his girlfriend. And Lin Feng's mother did not object to him dating in high school, and it was in this special period of senior year. This was something Lin Feng did not expect. If it was placed in the high school period of the previous life, this was something Lin Feng would not even dare to think about. After all, in the previous life, Lin Feng had an ambiguous object in high school, but he could only hide from each other every day, for fear of being discovered by his parents. He has put a lot of effort into that person. But even so, the other party still despised the poor and loved the rich. When Lin Feng was about to graduate from senior year, choose to abandon him. Lin Feng has always kept this in mind. Now, with the help of the system, Lin Feng is slowly becoming more outstanding, and the communication between him and his parents is more heart-to-heart than before. Everything is developing in a good direction, or in the direction he imagined. Sometimes Lin Feng is really afraid that all this is fake. Afraid that he will wake up from a dream. Thinking of this, Lin Feng couldn't help but shout in his mind, "System, are you still there? Ling, Master, the system is always at your service. Huh? Fortunately, all this is real." After relaxing his whole body, Lin Feng fell asleep quickly. I don't know what he dreamed in his dream. When he was asleep, the corners of his mouth slightly raised, revealing a happy smile. The next day, Lin Feng still got up early in the morning. After rebirth, all the habits of staying up late and being lazy in bed in the previous life were gone. Go to bed early and get up early for a good body. After the college entrance examination, there is a lot of time. Lin Feng plans to go to the gym at that time. Obviously, he is a handsome guy of 183 centimeters, but the system gave him such a low appearance score. Lin Feng is not convinced. After Lin Feng finished washing up, he went out. Today, it was still the noodle stall, the table, and the corner. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi had already formed a tacit understanding. By the way, it seemed that until now, Lin Feng still forgot to ask for Zhang Yuxi's phone number, and QQ, VX, etc. The two seemed to have forgotten this matter. They had formed a tacit understanding in what they did every day. They reviewed each other every day and went home together on time at night. They were not like other couples who held their phones and chatted every day, saying good night, baby, kiss, etc. Maybe in the eyes of others, this kind of couple's way of getting along is a bit alternative, but for Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi, this is exactly the most comfortable way of getting along. When they are busy, they don't disturb each other. I can know what you mean with just a look from you. This kind of tacit understanding and this kind of feeling are healthier and more stable than those couples who are stuck together every day and chat on their phones every day. Everyone likes novelty. After the passionate love period, there will be a long transition period. The love between you and me during the passionate love period will form a sharp contrast at this time. Conflicts will arise between lovers, and then they will quarrel constantly, and finally they will break up. In his previous life, Lin Feng had seen too many examples in a short video on a certain audio, and even in real life, too many to count. If a couple wants to really go on and walk for a lifetime, and a lifetime is very long, they need two people to manage their feelings for each other carefully. More importantly, the two people support each other, make progress together, and move forward together. If only one person is paying, one person is working hard, one person is slacking off, one person keeps moving forward, and one person is waiting in place, then the relationship between the two will not last long. No matter how strong the feelings between the two people were when they first got together, they could not withstand each other's slackness and the erosion of time. In the end, how much love the two people had at the beginning, how much suffering they had in the end. There are only two results of suffering. One is that they have no love for each other for a long time, but they get married and have children, and they are in harmony but not in harmony. Semicolon. One is that the two people quarreled every 3 days and quarreled every 2 days, hurting each other hard, and finally both of them were scarred, leaving only a sentence of love, and ended up broken. The so-called freshness is just an excuse for not loving each other, or it can be said that it is the bad instincts of human beings. From ancient times to the present, men like beautiful girls, and girls like handsome men. In the final analysis, it is the lustful instincts of human beings regardless of gender. Take ancient society as an example. The so-called talents in ancient times all liked to visit brothels. Excluding the feudal social system of favoring men over women and the essence of having 3 wives and 4 concubines, men like to visit brothels and take concubines, which is nothing more than lust. And women? Are all brothel girls pitiful people? I don't think so. There must be something hateful about pitiful people. They also like so-called romantic talents. There's even a history that a famous poet was so poor that he was supported by several brothel girls, but he was still proud of it. The reason why they do this is not only for the so-called fame, but also for lust. This was the case in ancient times, and it is the same in modern times. It is called freshness with a new name. And the so-called freshness is nothing more than lust. If lovers want to maintain this so-called freshness, they need to work together to manage the relationship between each other. Maintaining freshness is actually very simple, but it is also very difficult. This requires cooperation between the two, joint efforts, common progress, and moving forward together. In this way, the excellent each other is different every day, and every day is freshness. Lin Feng walked and thought, and the 3 views of past and present lives in his mind finally merged into one. Support each other, work together, be loyal to each other, and move forward hand in hand. This is the love that Lin Feng wants, and only in this way can love fit the perfect life. Thinking about it, Lin Feng couldn't help but laugh at himself. What was he thinking about? Love is originally very simple, why make it complicated? So Lin Feng shook his head, drove away these messy thoughts in his mind, looked up at the front, and quickened his pace. After all, Zhang Yuxi can't wait for him. That would kill people. He has a strong desire to survive. 5 minutes later, Lin Feng appeared at the noodle stall, and Zhang Yuxi also appeared not far away. They smiled at each other and said in unison, "You are here." This is love, simple and happy. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 843 Announcement of the winning bid results. After Lin Feng left. Not long after, Lin Dashan also got up. After washing up, he put on a suit and tie, carried a briefcase and hurried out, not even taking time to eat breakfast. There was no way. Today is the day for the communication state-owned enterprise to open the bid. Lin Dashan has been waiting for so long, and this day has finally come. Ding-ling-ling. As Lin Dashan walked towards the parking lot, the phone suddenly rang. "Hello, Lao Chen, what's the matter?" Lin Dashan said to the phone. "Hello, Mr. Lin, I have arrived at the venue. I have submitted the bidding advertising plan. When will you come?" Lao Chen on the other end of the phone said, with a hint of nervousness in his voice. "Well, okay, I'm ready to leave now. I can reach the venue in about 20 minutes. Lin Dashan said. "Okay, then Mr. Lin, we will wait for you at the venue. When you arrive, give me a call and I will pick you up." "Okay." After Lin Dashan finished speaking, he hung up the phone and quickened his pace towards his Audi A6. Huh? Lin Dashan was suddenly attracted by a car in the parking lot. "Oh my god, Ferrari 488, awesome, whose car is this? Wow, it's a man's dream." Lin Dashan said excitedly. After I sighed a few times, I didn't stay for long. I was in a hurry, otherwise he would have to watch and appreciate it for a long time. This Ferrari 488 is a car he has admired for a long time, but unfortunately the conditions do not allow it. Although his Starway company can earn in nearly 1 million yuan every year, he has to support his family. It would be too extravagant to spend millions to buy this car. Lin Dashan could only think about it. He opened the door of his Audi A6, sat in, started the car, and set off. Today's bidding is important. Because it was still early, There was no traffic jam on the road, and it was smooth all the way. Lin Dashan arrived at the bidding venue of the state-owned enterprise of communications in 15 minutes. After parking the car, he called Lao Chen in the Mediterranean. After waiting for 2 minutes, Lao Chen's iconic Mediterranean appeared in front of Lin Dashan. "Boss Lin, you are here. The bidding has not started yet. It should start in about 10 minutes. Let's go in first," Old Chen said respectfully. "Okay, let's go in first and talk while walking," Lin Dashan said. "Old Chen, are all the advertising planning companies in Shanghai here?" Lin Dashan asked. "Well, all those who should come are here. Those who are too weak probably won't come. After all, the competition for this bidding is fierce and their chances are slim." Old Chen thought for a while and replied. "By the way, our old rival, Yuan Hang, is here too," Old Chen suddenly said. "Oh? They are here too? It seems that they have a lot of confidence after hiring foreign aid." Lin Dashan thought for a while and said. "Well, there is also the large advertising planning company in Shanghai. If it weren't for the proposal of the young master, our chances of winning would be almost zero. I don't have any confidence at all." Old Chen thought for a while and said with some emotion. "Yeah, that's what I was worried about before. But fortunately, I have a good son, haha, let's go." Lin Dashan patted Lao Chen on the shoulder and laughed. The two of them quickly entered the venue, and now everyone in the venue is waiting for the result. "Hey, isn't this our general manager Lin?" Lin Dashan and Lao Chen just sat down when they heard someone calling him. Lin Dashan turned his head and saw a fat, big-eared, middle-aged man with a big belly walking towards him. "General Manager Lin, why are you here just now? It seems that you are quite confident about the result of this bid." "Haha," the man said with a fake smile. No, I can't compare to General Manager Li. We, Xingcheng, are just here to make soy sauce, ha ha ha." Lin Dashan also looked at the man with a smile on his face. Well, pure commercial mutual praise. The person who came was the mortal enemy of Lin Dashan, Xingcheng Advertising Planning Company, Limited, Yuanhang Advertising Planning Company, Limited, and the fat-headed and big-eared man was the boss of this company, Li Yuanhang. After the two of them praised each other for a while, they stopped talking. Everyone was anxiously waiting for the result. 10 minutes later, the person in charge of the communication state-owned enterprise bidding came out with the bidding results. Everyone's eyes were all focused on the sealed file bag in the hand of the person, which contained the documents that determine everyone's fate. The originally noisy meeting place suddenly became silent. Everyone was nervous and excited, waiting for the result, as if waiting for the judgment of fate. "Next, I will announce the winning result of the mobile phone advertising planning scheme of the communication state-owned enterprise. This bidding is divided into 3 sections: software advertising, appearance design, and mobile phone advertising. Next, I will announce the winning company of each section in turn." The person in charge of the communication state-owned enterprise stood on the stage and said slowly. This time, Lin Dashan's Xingcheng Advertising Planning Company, Limited bid for the mobile phone advertising bid of the 3rd section. Lin Dashan was so nervous that he clenched his fists. Although he was very confident in the planning scheme made by Lin Feng, he was still worried before it was announced. After the staff of the communication state-owned enterprise, who was responsible for announcing the winning bid, finished speaking, the atmosphere in the venue became more and more solemn. Then the staff continued. "Now I announce that the winning company for the software advertising bid in the 1st section of the communication state-owned enterprise is Magic City Advertising Planning Company, Limited." Wow! Congratulations! Congratulations! Well, this is within everyone's expectations. After all, Magic City Advertising Planning is one of the largest advertising planning companies in Magic City, and it is a mixed ownership state-owned enterprise. My father's strength is above that. Now I announce that the winning company for the appearance design advertising in the 2nd section of the communication state-owned enterprise is Longtang Advertising Planning Company, Limited. Wow! Congratulations! Congratulations! And this Longtang Advertising Planning Company, Limited is a private enterprise, which is considered to be a top-notch company in the advertising industry in Magic City. Although everyone was a little surprised to win the bid this time, there is no way, who let the company do a good job in planning. 2 sections have been removed, and some companies that bid in these 2 sections have given up treatment and have completely become foils and soy sauce. And those companies that bid in the 3rd section are all nervous. This is the last chance. including Lin Dashen's Xingchang Advertising Planning Company, Limited. At this time, Lin Dashen was even more nervous. His clenched fists were sweating from nervousness, and his palms were a little sticky. After a burst of noise, everyone stopped. Then, the staff of the state-owned communication enterprise continued to announce the last bid section. Now I announce that the winning company for the mobile phone advertising of the third bid section of the state-owned communication enterprise is Xingchang Advertising Planning Company, Limited. As soon as the voice fell, the whole audience was in an uproar. Everyone stared at the staff member in disbelief. What's going on? What the hell is this Xingchang? Does anyone know this company? Oh my. I know, it's a small and medium-sized advertising planning company. The people in the audience exploded. Some large advertising planning companies have never even heard of the name of Xingchang Advertising Planning Company, Limited. And Lin Dashen's old rival, Li Yuanhang of Yuanhang Advertising Planning Company, Limited, was also confused at this time. When did his Xingchang Advertising Planning Company, Limited, Lin Dashen, have this ability and be so awesome? Exclamation mark. The two companies have been competing for so many years. After so many years of fighting, the levels of the two companies are comparable. This time, I invited a first-class advertising planner from another province to help me make a plan. I didn't win the bid, so how could Lin Dashen win the bid? Li Yuanhang looked incredible, as if he had seen a ghost. Is this a joke? While everyone was talking about it, Lin Dashen was also very excited. Although he had been prepared, when he really heard the news, he was also very excited. Lin Dashen clenched his fists and tried his best to control his excitement. Boss Lin, we won. Mediterranean Lao Chen was also very excited at this time. He said to Lin Dashen with a trembling voice. Well, Lao Chen, we won the Xingchang. Lin Dashen said in a controlled voice. After all, as a boss, you can't show too much excitement, you have to be steady. The other people present at Xingchang Advertising Planning Company, Limited were also very excited, and everyone was so excited that they couldn't speak. Next, please invite the winning company to come on stage to receive the notice of winning and give a brief speech, said the staff of the state-owned enterprise of communication. Lin Dashen walked onto the stage with the CEOs of the other two companies with a smile on his face. After the other two companies gave brief speeches and received the notice of winning, it was Lin Dashen's turn to speak. Lin Dashen calmed down and spoke. At this moment, although I was mentally prepared, I couldn't help but feel excited when I really won the bid. Here, first of all, I would like to thank the state-owned enterprise of communication for its trust and recognition of our Star City Advertising Planning Company, Limited. Lin Dashen paused and continued. Secondly, I want to thank someone, that person is my son, because he made this advertising plan. He is currently in the third year of high school and is preparing for the college entrance examination, so he did not come to the venue today. However, as his father, I am proud of him. Next, our Xingchang Advertising Planning Company, Limited will work harder and conscientiously, and will not let down the trust of the state-owned communication company. Thank you everyone. Oh my god, did I hear it wrong? This Xingchang Advertising Planning Company, Limited's plan was actually made by a high school student. Someone said with an unbelievable look on his face. Everyone just reacted, my god, are all high school students so fierce now? After Lin Dashen received the notice of winning the bid, he came down. As soon as Lin Dashen came down, he became the focus of everyone. Many company bosses came to congratulate him, chatted with him, and left their business cards. After all, after Xingchang Advertising Planning Company, Limited won the bid this time, it will surely rise rapidly in the advertising industry of the Magic City, and there may be opportunities for cooperation in the future. Lin Dashen also talked with everyone and exchanged business cards. Li Yuanhang, an old rival of Xingcheng, also came over to congratulate Lin Dashen. There was no way around it. Yuanhang would no longer be Xingcheng's opponent in the future. After all, Xingcheng would surely rise rapidly, and they would not be on the same level by then. Lin Dashen was talking to everyone with great joy, and he was surrounded by everyone like a star. This was Lin Dashen's highlight moment. Chapter 844, Baseline Test. After the winning bid was announced, Lin Dashen looked very pleased with himself. He drove his own car back to the company happily. Along the way, Lin Dashen's face was full of excitement. There was exciting music in the car. He sang and indulged himself, as if he had been injected with chicken blood. Only Lin Dashan was an experienced driver. If it was a novice driver, who knows what would happen. 10 years, a full 10 years. Xingchang Advertising Planning Company, Limited was founded by Lin Dashan 10 years ago, when Lin Feng was 8 years old, after he resolutely resigned from his job. In the early days of founding Xingchang Advertising Planning Company, Limited, Lin Dashan had great ambitions and wanted to make a big profit to make 3 or 5 small goals. However, things did not go as planned. After the establishment of Xingchang Advertising, there has been no improvement. In the past few years, it has faced the dilemma of bankruptcy several times. In the end, Lin Dashan worked hard from dawn to dusk and finally saved the company. But it was only saved. Lin Dashan's original ambitions were slowly worn out in the torrent of the times and were no longer what they used to be. However, in recent years, as the social environment has gradually improved, the advertising industry has also begun to usher in new developments. More and more people need advertising business, and Lin Dashan's Xingchang Advertising Planning Company, Limited has also slowly begun to improve. But in the Magic City where many advertising planning companies are lined up, Xingchang Advertising does not occupy much market share. After all, the company is not large. However, as the company has gradually improved in recent years, Lin Dashan's long-forgotten career ambition has also begun to stir. Therefore, Lin Dashan has been looking for development opportunities in the past 2 years. So this time, Lin Dashan has been trying his best to win the advertising bidding for state-owned enterprises in the communication industry. For this matter, Lin Dashan didn't know how many days and nights he had been worried about, and his hair turned a lot white. In the end, limited by the level of the company, Lin Dashan almost wanted to give up. Fortunately, there is no way out. I had no hope at all, and my son brought me hope. Thinking of this, Lin Dashan felt relieved. His son had grown up, and the things that had been bothering him were solved so easily by Lin Feng. Lin Dashan shook his head and smiled. After a burst of acceleration, the car quickly disappeared at the end of the road. As for Lin Feng, after having breakfast with Zhang Yuxi in the morning, he returned to the classroom and started a new day of study. Addicted to learning, I don't know how long it took. Lin Feng didn't know how long he had been reading before he woke up from the ocean of knowledge. At this time, Lin Feng had already mastered all the knowledge of high school subjects. He also did a lot of mock exam questions, and felt that none of them were difficult for him. As long as there were no mistakes, it would be no problem to get into 985 or 211 at the end of the day, with his current strength. However, for some subjective questions, such as essays, Lin Feng was not easy to judge. After all, he had no idea what the college entrance examination paper grading teacher was thinking. Lin Feng thought so in his heart, and it didn't matter. If the others got full marks, what difference would there be between having essay points and not having them? Well, that's how confident I am. There's no way. The God-level learning ability of the system is just so awesome. Thinking of this, Lin Feng sincerely felt that he was an extremely lucky person, who was reborn, assisted by the system, accompanied by a beautiful woman, and had a happy family. This life must be cherished. Lin Feng was thinking, when suddenly his class teacher He Song walked in and went straight to the podium. He clapped his hands and said, "Classmates, I have something to announce. There is less than half a month left before the college entrance examination. The Education Bureau has decided to organize a unified test for all high schools in the Magic City. This test will rank the entire city. The test time is scheduled for the next 2 days. Everyone should prepare well. The difficulty of this city-wide unified test is equivalent to the college entrance examination in previous years. The test questions are drawn from the real test bank of the college entrance examination in previous years and rewritten by the city's education experts. I hope everyone will take it seriously." Wow! As soon as the class teacher He Song finished speaking, the students below began to discuss in a low voice. Quiet. Class monitor, discipline committee member, maintain order in the classroom. Everyone, review well and strive to get a good score. He Song finished speaking and walked out of the classroom. Haha, I just felt sleepy and the pillow was delivered. It's just right to verify the results of my recent work. Lin Feng smiled and thought. Buzz, buzz. At this time, Lin Feng's mobile phone suddenly vibrated. It was his father calling. He picked up the phone and walked out of the classroom to answer it. "Hello, Dad, what's wrong?" Lin Feng said to the phone. "Well, brat, Come back early after sending your girlfriend home tonight. Lin Dashan said. Well, okay. Lin Feng agreed without asking what it was. After that, he hung up the phone. Time passed quickly, and soon a day passed. In the evening, Lin Feng went to pick up Zhang Yuxi as usual. Along the way, the two of them were affectionate for a while, and they felt that the fatigue of the day was relieved. Madam, you are preparing for the city-wide mock exam. How is it? Are you confident? Lin Feng said to Zhang Yuxi with a smile. It should be no problem. I have been reviewing seriously recently. Zhang Yuxi clenched her fist and said with a very confident expression. Well, what about you? I heard that your grades are so-so. Are you confident? Zhang Yuxi suddenly asked with some concern. Seeing that she looked more nervous than himself, Lin Feng couldn't help but scratch her nose and smiled. Me? Guess. Hate it, how can I guess? To be honest, I checked your previous grade ranking, based on your previous grades. Zhang Yuxi was a little worried. She didn't want to be separated from Lin Feng in college. Lin Feng saw Zhang Yuxi's worry and smiled. Haha, silly girl, your husband was not serious before. If I get serious, even I would be scared. Greedy. Stop talking nonsense, I'm talking to you about serious things. Zhang Yuxi said with a serious face. Seeing that she looked serious, Lin Feng stopped teasing her. He touched Zhang Yuxi's head and said seriously, don't worry, it's okay. Remember what I told you before. If you don't understand any questions, you can ask me at any time. I'm not kidding about this. The college entrance examination is not stressful for me, don't worry. I'm not bragging or lying to you, I'm serious. You'll know after this exam. Zhang Yuxi saw that Lin Feng looked serious and didn't look like he was joking. So she chose to believe him. No other reason, because all along, Lin Feng always kept his word to her, which was a trust between them. Chapter 845 Dad, I respect you. After sending Zhang Yuxi home, Lin Feng called a taxi and rushed home quickly. He didn't know why his father asked him to go back early. Soon, Lin Feng arrived home. As soon as he opened the door, he found that the dining table was full of food. There was a clanging sound in the kitchen. Lin Feng guessed that his mother should be cooking in the kitchen. Lin Feng put his school bag on the sofa and walked to the kitchen. In the kitchen, he saw his father Lin Dashan wearing an apron, cutting vegetables, and the pot was also cooking vegetables. Lin Feng was confused. It was unprecedented. On weekdays, Lin Dashan was busy with company affairs every day. Although his father Lin Dashan's cooking was delicious, it was basically difficult to eat it once. Huh? Brat, you're back. Lin Dashan looked up and saw Lin Feng standing at the door of the kitchen, and said casually. Dad, what are you doing? Lin Feng asked in confusion. What am I doing? Cooking, can't you see? Lin Dashan said unhappily. No, Dad, it's rare. Could it be that the sun rises from the west today? Lin Feng joked. Lin Dashan's face was full of black lines. This kid never said a good word. Stop talking nonsense, wash your hands quickly and come to help. Lin Dashan glared at Lin Feng and said. Okay. Lin Feng rolled up his sleeves, went forward to wash his hands and started to help. Dad, where's Mom? Lin Feng asked while washing vegetables. Oh, your mom went to buy wine and will be back soon. Lin Dashan said casually. Oh, no, Dad, it's so late, so many dishes, can we finish them? Lin Feng asked. Why are you so nonsense, kid? I'm happy today, you care whether I can finish it or not, can't I put it in the refrigerator if I can't finish it? Lin Dashan said unhappily. Okay, you have the final say. Lin Feng stopped talking after he finished speaking. The two were busy, and soon all the dishes were ready. Lin Feng took the dishes to the dining table, and at this time, the sound of the door opening came. It turned out that his mother Jo Kilin came back from buying wine. Mom, you're back. Lin Feng called out. Son, did you just come back? Jo Kilin put down the wine in her hand and asked. No, I came back a while ago. Look, I was drafted into the army. But, what's wrong with Dad today? It's unprecedented. Lin Feng asked with some confusion. Your dad is happy today, let him do it. As for why, he will tell you later. Jo Kilin said with a smile. Okay, what's going on today? Everyone is so mysterious. Lin Feng said helplessly. Soon all the dishes were served on the table, and Lin Dashan also took off his apron, washed his hands, and came out wiping his hands. After sitting down, Lin Dashan said to Joe Killen with a smile on his face. Come on, wife, bring the wine over. I'm happy today, let's have a couple of drinks. Here, give it to you. Look at how impatient you are, like a drunkard. Joe Killen said with a smile on her face. Lin Dashan chuckled, took the wine from Joe Killen, poured himself a glass, and then looked at Lin Feng. Son, you are happy today, have a drink with Dad. Okay. Seeing that Lin Dashan was so happy, Lin Feng didn't want to spoil his fun, so he nodded. Hey, Lao Lin, just drink by yourself, why do you drag your son along, he doesn't know how to drink. Joe Killen said with some dissatisfaction. It's okay, wife, this kid is an adult, it's okay to drink less. Lin Dashan waved his hand. Mom, it's okay, I'll just drink a little. Lin Feng also spoke up. With his experience in the previous life, he knew that it was very uncomfortable to drink alone or be spoiled at the table. Because he had such feelings in the previous life, he could understand. Seeing that the father and son said so, Joe Killen looked at them helplessly and said nothing more. The family of three talked and laughed while eating, and the scene was very warm. After 3 or 2 glasses of wine, Lin Dashan's face began to turn red. He looked at Lin Feng with some emotion and said, Son, our Xingchang advertising company won the bid, thanks to the advertising plan you made. Is that so? It's good that we won. Lin Feng said casually while eating. Wife, this time our Xingchang won the bid. We can make millions of dollars just from the advertising fees for this issue. That's not all. For the subsequent advertising shares, our Xingchang advertising company has risen. And all this is brought by our son. If it weren't for our son's master level plan, it wouldn't be our turn to Xingchang even if we were in line. Lin Dashan looked at Joe Killen with emotion and said. Haha, so why don't you thank our son quickly? Joe Killen said happily. Yes, son, Dad will toast you a glass. Thank you for your plan. Lin Dashan raised his glass and said to Lin Feng. Dad, why are you being so polite? I'm your son. What's mine is yours, isn't it? How can a father toast to his son? Dad, I toast to you. Lin Feng said hurriedly. He really accepted the glass of wine. He was afraid that he would be beaten to death by Lin Dashan the next day. Ha ha ha. With this opportunity, our Xingchang advertising will have a lot of business in the future. I'm going to start recruiting people, expand the scale of the company, and make our Xingchang advertising the #1 advertising company in Shanghai. Lin Dashan said with high spirits. In the past, there were no opportunities and no choices, but now we have to rise. The family of three ate and talked happily. It was not until 12 o'clock in the evening that Lin Dashan got a little drunk and ended. After Lin Feng cleaned up the table, he felt very happy when he saw his mother taking care of his drunk father. Dad, in the last life, you failed to fulfill your wish. In this life, let your son escort you and help you realize your dream. Chapter 846 Triggering System Tasks. The next day, Lin Feng got up early as usual, and went out after washing up. As usual, after having breakfast with Zhang Yuxi, he came to the classroom. Today is the city's unified mock exam for senior high school students. Everyone came to the classroom early, and the students were writing furiously, doing the final review before the exam. Lin Feng was leisurely. He took a novel titled Just Entered College, and the beautiful tutor is actually the mother of the child. From his deskmate Zhang Anman's desk and started reading it. Oh. This name is the same as mine? Lin Feng thought to himself, and read a few chapters casually. Lin Feng was attracted by the plot inside. Wow, the author of this novel is pretty good, it's quite interesting. Zhang Anman, the deskmate who was cramming at the last minute, was a little surprised to see Lin Feng reading his novel. My friend, you are not having a fever today, are you? You have been studying hard recently, and now the exam is coming up, you are actually reading novels. Don't you usually say that these online novels are not nutritious? Have you changed your mind today? Zhang Anman patted Lin Feng with some curiosity and asked. Ah, did I say that? But this novel is indeed quite interesting, and the author is a wonderful person. Lin Feng said casually. No, that's not the point. The point is that you don't seize the time to read the book. Zhang Anman said with a puzzled look. Oh, I won't read it. I have read enough in normal times. Now, there is no need. Lin Feng waved his hand and continued to flip through the novel in his hand and replied casually. Okay, if you don't read it, I have to read it. It's better to sharpen the spear before the battle, even if it's not fast, it will be bright. After saying that, Zhang Anman started reading by himself. And Lin Feng was reading the novel by himself. Watching. Huh? Question mark. Why did it end at only 20 chapters? I was reading it with great enthusiasm. It's a bit uncomfortable. So he patted his deskmate Zhang Anman. Hey, old Zhang, where did you get this book? How come it's gone after only 20 chapters? Lin Feng asked curiously. Hey, this book is still being serialized, and only these 20 chapters have been published. If you want to read it, just download Penguin Reading and get a membership and you can read it. This author is quite conscientious. Zhang Anman became interested when he mentioned the novel. Ding ling ling. As the two were talking, the class bell suddenly rang. The class teacher He Song walked in with a thick stack of test papers. Students, the exam will start soon. Please put all the things on the table that are not related to the exam into the drawer and turn the discs around. Go to the toilet if you need to. You are not allowed to go to the toilet before the exam is over. Please take this exam seriously and don't think about cheating. You can do it this time, but can you still cheat in the college entrance examination? Everyone, move your hands and feet quickly. Wow. Everyone started to move. Some went to the toilet, and some were already done, sitting in their seats quietly waiting for the exam to begin. Soon, everyone sat quietly in their seats waiting for the papers to be distributed. The class teacher He Song said while distributing the papers, the subject for this morning's test is Chinese. The time is 9 to 11:30. Please hurry up and answer the questions. The papers were distributed quickly. Everyone took the papers and flipped through them roughly, waiting for the bell to ring. Ding ding ding. Soon the bell rang, and everyone started to write. The classroom was terribly quiet, with only the rustling sound of flipping papers and the tip of the pen hitting the paper. Some people in the classroom answered the questions calmly, some scratched their heads, some thought hard, and some even looked around and wanted to cheat. But Lin Feng was different from them. The knowledge of these questions had long been deeply imprinted in his mind, and now he could answer them easily. Just as Lin Feng was answering the questions easily, the crisp sound of the system suddenly rang in his mind. Ding. Trigger system task. Win the first place in the science subject of this citywide unified examination. Option 1. Accept the task, easily get the first place in the city in science in this exam, and be rewarded with a 3-line love letter singer ability. Option 2. Refuse the task and get the title of Ninja Turtle. 3-line love letter. It means that the lyrics, music, and singing are written by the same person. The 3-line love letter allows the host to instantly have the ability of a top singer-songwriter, and the ability is permanent. Note, after obtaining the 3-line love letter ability, the host can directly use any song that did not appear in this time period in the previous life, and after being adjusted by the system causality law, there will be no collision of songs, and the copyright of all songs belongs to the host. Chapter 847, This Kid, could it be that he knows the answer in advance? Oh, do I need to choose? Of course I'd choose 1. As an old system user, Lin Feng certainly knew that choosing the best option was the right choice. System, I choose 1. Lin Feng said to the system in his mind. Ding. The host chooses to accept the task. After completing the task, you will gain the 3 love letters singer ability. Oh, if this ability was used in the high school of the previous life, it would definitely be a great way to pick up girls. Unfortunately, I, Lin Feng, only have Zhang Yuxi. When the time comes, I will write a song for her and give her a surprise. I guess this girl will be moved to tears. Well, let's do it. Lin Feng thought to himself. Then, Lin Feng continued to answer the questions. I know this question. This question is simple. This question is even simpler. There is no way. The God-level learning ability given by the perfect life is too good. Lin Feng is now almost a walking encyclopedia of high school knowledge. In less than half an hour, Lin Feng finished answering all the questions except the composition. Except for the reading comprehension questions that took a little time, Lin Feng filled in the correct answers to the other questions after just one glance, without even thinking. Lin Feng started writing essays, books such as National Excellent Essays for Middle School Students. During this time, Lin Feng had read almost all of them, so a mere essay? Just having hands is enough. Lin Feng wrote like crazy, writing as if he was assisted by God, and 30 minutes later, an essay appeared on the paper. He finally finished. Lin Feng looked up at the time on the blackboard. It was exactly 10 o'clock. The exam started at 9 o'clock, and exactly 1 hour had passed. What should I do next? So boring. Lin Feng's relaxed and carefree writing formed a sharp contrast with the students around him. The students around him were writing furiously, and everyone was working hard to answer the questions. Even those who usually didn't like to study were writing the test papers seriously. If they knew that Lin Feng was so relaxed, they would probably want to kill him. It's really annoying to compare yourself with others. Lin Feng was bored for a while. So he didn't want to sit there like this in the classroom, so he picked up the test paper and stood up and walked towards the podium. Huh? The class teacher He-song was originally looking at the test questions, but was suddenly awakened by Lin Feng, who walked up. He looked up at the time, and then looked at Lin Feng. Lin Feng, have you finished? He-song asked with some doubts. Well, teacher I've finished. I'm a little bored, so I want to hand in the paper early. Lin Feng said casually. Huh? You're so fast. He-song was a little surprised. Although Lin Feng's grades were not the top ones, they were also in the upper middle level. He shouldn't be like those students who are unlearned and self-destructive, right? Oh, teacher what do you mean I'm so fast? This is ambiguous. Lin Feng said with a black line on his face. Go away, stop talking nonsense. Bring the test paper here, and then you go out of the classroom, don't affect others. He-song said in a low voice. Okay. Lin Feng put down the test paper and quickly left the classroom. Well, the air outside is better. Lin Feng said. He-song took Lin Feng's test paper and prepared to take a look. If he knew that Lin Feng wrote nonsense, he would not let him off. Usually, as the president of the student union, Lin Feng often dealt with various teachers, so he had a good relationship with He-song. Sometimes they would joke around like he did just now. He knew that Lin Feng was quite reliable. Except for the oath-taking ceremony, he was very steady and knew how to behave, so he agreed to let him hand in his paper just now. He-song was already looking at Lin Feng's test paper at this time. In addition, he taught Chinese, so when he saw Lin Feng's answers, he was stunned for a moment. Oh my god, all right on this side. Then he looked at the reading comprehension questions again. With his teaching level, he was not the best, but he was also ranked among the top in the Magic City No. 3 middle school. When he looked at Lin Feng's answers to the reading comprehension questions, he felt that they were so perfect that he couldn't answer them, even if he was asked to answer them. Fuck, this kid didn't know the answers in advance, did he? He-song murmured in shock, and was so shocked that he started to swear. But he quickly denied it. He knew what kind of family Lin Feng came from, and the test paper was only delivered to the school today, so it was impossible to leak it. Moreover, if you look closely, Lin Feng's answer to the reading comprehension was obviously written in combination with his own understanding, not the kind of mechanical standard answer. So, except for the composition, this kid basically got full marks in the front part? 90 points? Good, this kid. He-song couldn't wait to read Lin Feng's composition. Huh? About 10 minutes later. Hiss. Almost all the students present heard the sound of He-song sucking in this breath. Whose fart is so fragrant? Even the head teacher can't help but suck so much. Many people present thought evilly in their hearts. He-song also knew that he had lost his composure and quickly adjusted himself. Oh my. Lin Feng, this kid, this composition is really, really fucking great. He-song couldn't help but swear in his heart. He was really scared. All in all, with his level, Lin Feng's composition must be full marks. The text is clear and the plot is ups and downs. The short 800 words link the previous and the next, which really doesn't seem like something a high school student can write. If He-song were to grade Lin Feng's test paper, he would give it 149 points. As for why he deducted 1 point, it was because he was afraid that if he gave one more point, Lin Feng would be proud. On the other side, Lin Feng was wandering around the campus board. He walked to the playground and the podium, feeling the unique youthful atmosphere of high school. It has been more than 2 months since he was reborn. Lin Feng seemed to have really forgotten his previous life and integrated into the present. The young self and the young mentality are no longer the kind of decadent and gloomy self in the previous life. My current state. It is completely the mentality of an 18-year-old boy. Except for the occasional recollection in the dead of night, perhaps this is the last gap between the reborn and the world. Just thinking about it, Lin Feng was called back from his daze by a shout. Hey, brother. Help me pick up a basketball, thank you. A boy about 1.8 meters tall shouted to Lin Feng. Lin Feng looked and saw that a basketball had just flown to the summit. Lin Feng walked over and picked up the basketball. He made a shot and the ball landed steadily in the boy's hand. The boy was shocked by Lin Feng's move. "Sure, brother, are you interested in coming over to play a game? There are few people over there. How about a full court game?" Lin Feng smiled and was about to refuse when the system's crisp voice suddenly came to his mind. Ding, triggering system random task, accept the invitation, carry the whole game, and teach the young junior a lesson. Option 1, accept the task and immediately obtain the ability of a professional basketball player. Option 2, reject the task, no reward. Note, the ability of a professional basketball player will be obtained through memory transmission and muscle memory assistance. Up, the ability of a professional basketball player. This is going to beat them. System, is this a bad taste? Lin Feng couldn't help but think to himself. Well, I just happen to have nothing to do. I can just play with him and get a skill for free, so why not? Chapter 848 dominates the court. System, I choose 1. As soon as Lin Feng finished speaking, a lot of basketball skills and knowledge suddenly appeared in his mind. Together with those muscle memories, they were all given to his body. It was like a professional basketball player who had played for 2.5 years, without any sense of disobedience. Okay, let's have a game. Lin Feng replied with a smile. After speaking, Lin Feng walked down the podium. The man threw the basketball to Lin Feng. The moment he touched the basketball, Lin Feng knew all the movements of dribbling, passing, blocking, dunking, etc., just like the instinctive reaction of the body. Soon several people were divided into groups. With an order, the basketball game began. Woo! The whistle sounded. The referee threw the ball high up, and Lin Feng jumped lightly and the basketball was in his hands. At this time, a player from the opponent rushed over, and Lin Feng made a flexibly fake move, making the opponent's player miss. Then, Lin Feng bypassed another defensive player like lightning, raised the ball high with both hands, jumped up, and threw the ball into the basket accurately, winning a good start. The game continued. After his teammates grabbed the basketball, they ran a few steps and then, when they saw the opportunity, threw it to Lin Feng. Lin Feng flexibly avoided the enemy players and waved his hand gently. The basketball fell into his hands as if it was obedient. Lin Feng bent over, and the basketball kept bouncing back and forth under his hands. His eyes were rolling around, looking for an opportunity to break through. Suddenly, he quickened his pace, turned left and right, rushed through 2 layers of defense, came to the basket, jumped, turned around and shot. The basketball drew a beautiful arc in the air, and fell into the basket without bias. Seeing Lin Feng so brave, the enemy decided to start to encircle him. The enemy player's body, like an iron tower, stood in front of Lin Feng. Want to stop Lin Feng, who is at the professional level? That's impossible. Lin Feng's 5 fingers of his left hand clasped the ball tightly, and at the same time his left foot stepped out quickly, and his arm swung the ball out, as if he was going to break through. The opponent quickly reached out to stop him. Lin Feng smiled slightly, and instantly leaned in the opposite direction. He quickly stepped out with his right foot, slapped his left hand, and easily dribbled the ball to his right hand. He stretched out his left arm to block the opponent's interception. His right hand accelerated the rhythm of dribbling, slid, turned, and broke through. A short boy in the enemy team saw that the situation was not good and was ready to grab the ball. At this time, brother Tita from behind also pressed forward. Lin Feng held the ball in his right hand and hid behind him. The 2 people pressed towards him with a grin, and smiled triumphantly. Do you think you have won? Lin Feng showed a mocking smile at the corner of his mouth. He passed the ball from behind his waist, dribbled past the opponent, and his crotch was splayed, leaving brother Tita in a mess in the wind. And the short boy next to him flexibly came over, ready to attack and grab the ball by surprise. But how could Lin Feng let him succeed? Lin Feng stopped, used his left foot as the center, pushed the ground with his right foot, turned his shoulder to protect the ball, and took a few quick steps. Just as he was about to dunk the ball with a high-end tomahawk dunk, a short boy 3 meters away from him jumped up and tried to block Lin Feng. You overestimate your height, don't you? Lin Feng thought to himself. Then Lin Feng ignored his action and pressed the ball directly. With a bang, the basket groaned in pain, and the ball went in. Later, the whole court became Lin Feng's personal show. The opponent didn't have a chance to score a point until the end of the game. The people on the opposite side felt their faces burning. Even the brother who invited him over just now. At this moment, He felt ashamed. The level gap was too big. It was not at the same level at all. It was pure bullying. In the future, they probably won't dare to ask Lin Feng to play basketball again, unless they want to be bullied. It's too embarrassing. Seeing this, Lin Feng suddenly felt bored. So he turned around, waved to them, and walked out of the stadium. Come and go in a hurry. Waving his sleeves, not taking a cloud with him. Exam day. Time always flies. Soon 2 days will pass, and there is one last English exam, and it will be over after the exam. The exams the day before yesterday were not difficult at all for Lin Feng, and this last English exam was naturally no problem. Lin Feng buried his head and wrote down the answers quickly, and then there was a commotion. Take it out. The invigilator yelled at a boy. Don't learn the good things, learn the bad things. Is cheating useful? Is that your grade? After saying that, he grabbed the boy's cheat sheet and yelled. The boy blushed with shame, and was caught cheating on the spot, and then was taken out by the invigilator. This score is a 0, and it is estimated that he will be reported to the whole school for punishment. Alice, poor child. This is just a small episode, and everyone soon quieted down. Lin Feng shook his head and stopped paying attention, continuing to write the test paper. Time passed quickly, and Lin Feng also wrote quickly. After an hour and a half, Lin Feng finished all the questions. He checked it briefly, then picked up the test paper and walked up to the podium to hand in the paper in advance. After handing in the paper in advance and leaving the classroom, Lin Feng walked to the canteen and bought 2 bottles of yogurt. Then he went downstairs to the teaching building and waited for Zhang Yuxi to come out. He planned to go out for dinner with Zhang Yuxi after the exam, and then come back for evening self-study. After all, the exam was over at 5 o'clock, which was relatively early. Waiting and waiting, Lin Feng was a little bored. Suddenly he remembered the novel just entered college. The beautiful tutor is actually the mother of the child. That he had read under Zhang Anman's desk before, so he took out his mobile phone and searched it casually on the internet. It was found that it was indeed serialized on the internet. Okay, it's pretty good. Lin Feng clicked in and found that, damn, I even have to pay for membership? ? Inhuman. However, Lin Feng used to sell gold bars. He was a person with a small fortune, and with the memory of his previous life, making money was as easy as breathing. So, he didn't skimp and directly signed up for a 1-year membership. Then he bought the entire book and stood under the teaching building, looking at it happily. Damn, how come it's gone in a flash? Only 2 chapters a day, is this author okay? Lin Feng scrolled to the last chapter and saw the options of reward and voting. Seeing this, Lin Feng understood instantly. He directly recharged 1,000 yuan, rewarded the author with several yachts, and then voted all the votes in his hand. After doing all this, Lin Feng commented under the chapter. Humph. I see if you dare to go slower. The author replied instantly, Boss, I was wrong. I will never update twice a day again. For 1,000 yuan, I will directly update 100 chapters. Please don't reward me anymore. Looking at the author's reply, Lin Feng felt very happy in his heart. I told you to update so slowly. Chapter 849. I can wait, no rush. Ding ling ling. Just then, the bell rang, and the exam was over. Zhang Yuxi put down the pen in her hand, sat in her seat, and waited for the invigilator to collect the papers. The questions in this English exam were still relatively difficult, but she was still very confident. It was a bit difficult to get the first place in the city, but there was still some hope for the first place in the whole grade, Zhang Yuxi thought. Soon, she thought of Lin Feng. I don't know how this idiot did in the exam. When I asked him yesterday, he said it was very simple. Humph, I don't know if it was true, this bad guy. Soon the test paper was taken away by the invigilator. It is estimated that the results will be available in 2 days. After the exam, everyone breathed a sigh of relief, but they were instantly depressed again. They still had to go to class tomorrow. In the 3rd year of high school, even weekends have become a luxury. At this time, Lin Feng had already walked to the door of Zhang Yuxi's classroom. I don't know if it was telepathic, but as soon as Lin Feng walked to the door, he looked in the direction of Zhang Yuxi. At this time, Zhang Yuxi also happened to look at the door, and their eyes met instantly. Lin Feng smiled gently, and Zhang Yuxi also smiled sweetly, and the movement of packing things in her hands could not help but speed up a bit. When everyone in the classroom saw Lin Feng's appearance, they were already numb. Give up treatment. In the past 2 months, Lin Feng appeared every day, and then left with their goddess under the gaze of everyone. They had long been accustomed to it. After Zhang Yuxi packed her things, she walked to the door with a sweet smile on her delicate and beautiful face. Lin Feng handed her the yogurt, then took the small school bag in her hand, and the two walked downstairs. Silly, how was the exam today? Zhang Yuxi couldn't help asking while drinking yogurt. Oh, it was very simple. I handed in the paper very early and came out, and I've been waiting for you downstairs. Lin Feng waved his hand and said in a casual manner. Simple? Zhang Yuxi asked with some doubt. She felt that the English questions this time were a bit difficult, but Lin Feng actually said that they were very simple and handed in the paper in advance. Humph, the results will come out in 2 days. If I find out that you lied to me, I will see how I will deal with you. Zhang Yuxi pretended to be fierce to Lin Feng. Lin Feng looked at her cute and fierce appearance, and saw that there was no one around. When no one was paying attention, he quickly kissed Zhang Yuxi's little face. Zhang Yuxi was stunned by Lin Feng's action, and the next second her little face instantly turned red. Zhang Yuxi covered her little face, and she felt that her face was burning. After a while, she felt better. Zhang Yuxi stepped forward and punched Lin Feng's chest with her little fist. You are going to die, you big bad guy, in public, it's so embarrassing. Lin Feng looked at her shy appearance and laughed. Sorry, my wife is too beautiful, I can't help it. The two went forward while playing, the love of youth, simple happiness, beautiful and yearning. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi were playing, and suddenly heard the campus radio. Hello, hello, hello. Someone was testing the sound, and the voice like a drake was unpleasant to hear. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi also stopped and wanted to listen to what was going on. Teachers and students, good afternoon, everyone. Here is an urgent notice. The city's senior high school mock exam has just ended. The leaders of the Municipal Education Bureau attach great importance to the results of this mock exam. Each high school needs to cross-check and grade the papers. Considering that the teachers' marking and grading work takes time, the senior high school will have a collective holiday tomorrow. Please tell each other about the notice. The broadcast repeated it 3 times. Wow. Huh? Oh my god, long live. This is the first time I think the dean's drake-like voice is so beautiful. The whole senior high school grade was boiling instantly. Everyone was extremely excited. It's a long-awaited holiday! Exclamation mark. The whole senior high school grade was reveling like a party. Fortunately, it was time to go home, otherwise it would probably explode. And here Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi smiled at each other. Originally, Lin Feng wanted to eat something with Zhang Yuxi outside and then come back for evening self-study. Now, it is definitely not that easy. Yuxi, since there is no class tomorrow and it is still early, let me arrange it tonight. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi and said gently. I still have to go home tonight, my parents. Zhang Yuxi blushed and whispered. Oh, what are you thinking about in your little head? Lin Feng rolled his eyes and flicked Zhang Yuxi's forehead and said. Hate. It hurts. Zhang Yuxi pushed Lin Feng's hand away and said angrily. Silly girl, who do you think I am? Even if you want to do that, it's not now, my little fool. Lin Feng said gently. Hate. Stop it, I didn't think about these, you thought about it yourself. Zhang Yuxi said angrily. Ha ha ha, yes, I was just imagining it. Lin Feng laughed. HMPH. Seeing that there was no one around, Lin Feng gently hugged Zhang Yuxi into his arms. He whispered softly in her ear, Wife, if love lasts forever, why should we be together day and night? Your husband, can wait, there's no rush. Huh? Stop talking, I hate you so much. Zhang Yuxi lay in his arms and reacted instantly. Her face turned even redder, like a burning fire. Okay, let's go, wife, please. Lin Feng gently let go of Zhang Yuxi and said. Lin Feng took a taxi and the two went straight to the parking lot of Lin Feng's community. That's right, the Ferrari 488 that had been forgotten for a long time was finally waiting for the favor of its owner. Soon, the two arrived at Lin Feng's community. Zhang Yuxi looked around curiously. Is this where my fool grew up? With a special and inexplicable feeling, Zhang Yuxi looked at every blade of grass, every brick and tile in Lin Feng's community, feeling what Lin Feng felt back then. Do all people in love have such an idea? Want to walk the same path, do the same things, live in the same place again, wish they had known each other since childhood, and stick together every day? Zhang Yuxi felt it carefully, a little fascinated. Silly girl, what are you thinking about? Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi, who was in a daze, and said softly. Ah. No, nothing. Zhang Yuxi came back to her senses and said. Silly girl, do you want to go up and get to know the house? My TV is big and beautiful. Lin Feng joked with a playful look on his face. No. No, next time. Zhang Yuxi's face flushed, a little shy, and said weakly. Ha ha ha. My wife, you are so cute. Lin Feng couldn't help scratching Zhang Yuxi's nose and said with a smile. Chapter 850. I bought this car myself. After joking with Zhang Yuxi, Lin Feng took her to the back door of the community and walked towards the parking lot. As for why they had to go through the back door? That's because this is an old community and the neighbors all know each other. Lin Feng was afraid that people would see them and gossip about them, which would be bad for Zhang Yuxi. Soon, the two came to Lin Feng's Ferrari 488, which was still so sexy. The classic red body of the Ferrari family is very beautiful. Lin Feng took out a key from his school bag and opened the door. After the two got on the car, Lin Feng helped Zhang Yuxi fasten her seat belt. Lin Feng squeezed over to help fasten the seat belt. He seemed to be lying on Zhang Yuxi. The unique and strong masculine aura of Lin Feng made Zhang Yuxi feel safe, and her beautiful little face turned red again. After Lin Feng helped her fasten her seat belt, he suddenly saw Zhang Yuxi's face blushing and a little confused. Yuxi, what's wrong? Is it stuffy in the car? After saying that, Lin Feng rolled down the window. No. It's okay. Zhang Yuxi said shyly. Lin Feng was a little confused. But he didn't think much about it, and directly started the car. Boom. Boom. The unique roar of the Ferrari engine sounded. The car body jumped forward like a leopard and soon disappeared in the parking lot. Boom. Lin Feng appeared on the street in a Ferrari. It was the peak time for getting off work and school. While waiting for the red light, the cool and stylish design of the Ferrari attracted many passers-by to stop and watch. The bide car behind Lin Feng was far away and did not dare to follow. Wow, this car is so handsome. Oh my god. It's a Ferrari 488 Pistaspiter. There are not many in China. Wow, this color is so sexy. I like it. You want to eat peaches? Millions of dollars, like? Can you afford it? A passerby was shocked. Oh, can't I think about it? No, don't even think about it. Zhang Yuxi also heard the words of the passersby at this time, and she was also a little shocked. Lin Feng, is this car so expensive? Zhang Yuxi asked Lin Feng in a low voice. Huh? Oh, this car, it must be worth several million. Lin Feng said casually. Ah, your dad actually bought you such an expensive car. Zhang Yuxi said with her mouth open in surprise. No, this car was not bought by my dad, I bought it myself. Lin Feng said while driving the car. Ah, you bought it yourself? Where did you get the money? Zhang Yuxi was even more shocked. Yes, my wife. This car was bought by your husband with his own money. Lin Feng touched Zhang Yuxi's little face while waiting for the red light and said. Well, it was given by the system, which is equivalent to buying it with your own money. Is there anything wrong with it? Lin Feng said shamelessly in his heart. But, you. Zhang Yuxi didn't know how to start. Silly girl, come on, there are still many things you don't know. Your husband is very capable and excellent. You will slowly learn about it in the future. Lin Feng rubbed Zhang Yuxi's little head and said gently. Oh, that's so annoying. You messed up my hair. Zhang Yuxi pushed Lin Feng's hand away and rolled her eyes at him. Afterwards, Zhang Yuxi didn't ask him about the car again, because she believed in Lin Feng, and the better Lin Feng was, the happier she was. Boom. Squeak. Squeak. The roar of the sports car engine and the sound of the car tires rubbing against the ground sounded. Lin Feng parked the car steadily at the door of a Western restaurant. When the waiter at the door of the Western restaurant saw Lin Feng stop the car, he immediately stepped forward to help Lin Feng open the car door. After Lin Feng got out of the car, he went around to help Zhang Yuxi open the car door, and then took her hand and got out of the car. Lin Feng casually threw the car keys to the waiter who is responsible for parking, and then took Zhang Yuxi to the Western restaurant. Sir, madam, good evening, welcome. Excuse me, do you have a reservation? The waitress in charge of reception came up and asked respectfully. No, please help arrange it. Lin Feng said casually. Okay, sir, madam, this way. The waitress took Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi to a couple's booth by the window. Lin Feng felt quite satisfied, So the two sat down face to face. "Wife, what do you want to eat?" Lin Feng said to Zhang Yuxi while flipping through the menu. Hearing Lin Feng calling her like this in front of others, Zhang Yuxi's face instantly turned red. Seeing that Zhang Yuxi did not reply, Lin Feng looked up at Zhang Yuxi and found that this silly girl's face was red to the root of her neck, and he felt funny in his heart. This silly girl, she is so shameless. Lin Feng smiled, ordered 2 steaks, and then ordered some side dishes according to Zhang Yuxi's usual preferences. I originally wanted to order a bottle of red wine, but when I thought about having to drive Zhang Yuxi home later, I asked for 2 glasses of boiled water. After placing the order, the waiter quickly prepared it. "Wife, why is your face red? Is it too hot here?" Lin Feng deliberately said jokingly. "Hateful." Zhang Yuxi glared at him and said coquettishly. Seeing that Zhang Yuxi was about to get angry, Lin Feng didn't dare to do it again. He stretched out his right hand and gently held Zhang Yuxi's hand, looking at her gently. "Yuxi, the greatest luck in my life is that God let me meet you. I am really satisfied to be with you. In this life, I will never let you leave me again. I love you." Listening to Lin Feng's affectionate confession again, Zhang Yuxi felt warm in her heart, tears flashing in her eyes. She held Lin Feng's hand tightly and spoke softly. "Silly boy, I know that being with you is my greatest luck in this life. Do you know? Before you appeared, I had thought about why people live in this world. What is the meaning of life? Lin Feng, I once had the idea of committing suicide, you know? But after meeting you, my world is full of sunshine and hope, dispelling all the haze. Every day when I wake up, what I look forward to most is meeting you. Every day is extremely easy. In front of you, I can be myself without any concealment, and you have always tolerated me in all my little tempers, so meeting you is also my greatest luck." Zhang Yuxi spoke out her inner thoughts in front of Lin Feng for the first time. It is not easy to love each other. At this moment, Lin Feng felt that everything he had done for so many days was worth it. Soon, all the dishes were ready and served. "Sir, madam, your dishes are ready, please enjoy, and call me at any time if you have anything," the waitress said respectfully. Lin Feng nodded, then helped Zhang Yuxi cut a steak intimately, and then cut his own. Zhang Yuxi noticed all these small details, and felt very happy. The two of them ate and talked. They were very affectionate and the scene was very warm and happy. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.